Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Outs here, and it's Tuesday morning, and we're continuing our series of classic Jurassic Tuesday trivias again. Doing the trivia again has been so much fun to me because I missed writing the questions. It's been a few months. I mean, we didn't do a trivia until recently, until the before the season. This string of trivias has been the first Tuesdays of the season where we've had to do trivias. And well, this is the third of 4 weeks in a row of Jurassic Tuesday trivia. And we're going way back today. This is going to be an expansion era player that we're looking at. Actually, one of the leaders, early years of the Raptors, John Wallace. Now, I won't wait till some more people get in here before I start the questions. So we'll start with the preview for today's 9:05 game, which is the Raptors 9:05 at Cleveland Charge. We found out yesterday that Jonathan Mobo has been assigned to the Raptors 9:05 this week, and he will be playing for Andrew Jones in the Raptors 9:05 in Cleveland for 2 games today and Thursday. So we have a 2-game set against Cleveland. And the thing is, Cleveland Charge are actually one of the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference in the G League. So they are right next to us in the standings. These games are very important. I'm not totally sure if the two ways are with them, but I would think they may be actually with them. Part of it is that TJD did such a good job in his debut as a Raptor that Darko probably felt like Mobo could be utilized for the game against the Charge. So we will go ahead and go over that game right now. The Charge, who are they? We have not really played them this year yet. This will be the first time we're playing them. Let's go over their roster real quick. Cleveland Charge are right now Wereth Alatishe. I don't know if I said that anything right. Wereth Alatishe. I think that's right. Wereth Alatishe. Darius Brown, Tristan Inaruna, Killian Hayes, who's actually one of the up next All-Stars for the All-Star weekend coming up. So he's one of the G League All-Stars, Killian Hayes, Isaiah Hawthorne, Miller Kopp, Emmanuel Miller, which is interesting because I thought Emmanuel Miller was still with the Bulls, but I guess he's with the Cavs because he's on the G League team for the Cavs. He was on Windy City Bulls. So I guess the Miller brothers aren't reunited. I thought that Leonard was playing with Emmanuel now that he got traded to the Bulls, but Emmanuel's on the Cleveland Charge. Zeke Mayo is on this team out of Kansas also. Sean McNeil, Riley Minix. This is a guy who's been a two-way for the Spurs in the past. This guy's pretty good. Norchan Omier, Jackson Robinson, and Naquan Tomlin, who's actually been huge, the Memphis product for Cleveland Cavaliers on the main team. Naquan Tomlin, very, very athletic, skilled young players. So that's the Cleveland Charge, the team that's lining up against Andrew Jones and the Raptors 9:05 later on tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern tip-off. If you want to join me in the YouTube chat, I will be there with the other Raptor freaks hanging out and watching the game, having a jolly good time, watching the Raptors 9:05 continue to go through their season and hopefully get more dubs. That's right. Andrew Jones, salute to you, man. You are going to be champion coach someday. I may be on G League this year, actually. Yeah, he's awesome. I reach out to Andrew and he messages me back. It's crazy. I told him yesterday that the Raptors need to put a pin on Julian Reese and that we need to convert him or to give him some contract, whether it's a 10-day with the Raptors or it's give him a two-way. Give him a two-way. Give Julian Reese a two-way. That's what I'm advocating and standing for right now on this channel. All right, we got a couple comments here. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Yeah, trivia. Commissioner of Trivia Adriana is in the house to adjudicate and make the rulings. The rulings. That's right. And Fiercey is here also. Good morning, fam, and happy Trivia Day. Hi, Adriana. Girl power. That's like a little wink, wink. Yeah. Fast fingers, Fiercey. She got a couple aces up her sleeve as far as she's got the fast fingers, and she's also got girl power. I love that. Yeah. Saving my WWE comments for after the trivia. Okay. Yeah. We will talk about the frecases last night. There were some frecases. Real quick, let me do the referee for tonight's game. Also, the referees for tonight's game against Cleveland Charge. The crew chief is Marcy Williams once again. She was our crew chief for the game on Sunday. Is number 76 in her second season as a non-staff official. She's her favorite TV show is Girlfriends. She's out of Livingston, New Jersey. She likes the movie Brown Sugar. Her favorite musician is Beyonce. She loves Eckhart Tolle, and she's amazing for that. A New Earth is her favorite book. Favorite meal is soul food. She listens to Apple Music. She most like to visit Africa. She wants to travel for a year on her bucket list, and her hidden talent is bowling. Marcy Williams graduated from the New Jersey Institute of Technology with a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. Her interests include cycling, pickleball, and bowling. Yeah, Marcy's a great ref, guys. Honestly, I watch these G League refs and I kind of figure out how good they are and what are they going to do on the big level when they get up to the NBA more often. And Marcy's on her way. She's an NBA staff official this year in bit parts. But yeah, she's a very fair ref. She has a vast experience, and I trust her. The other refs are Tyler Merkovich is the referee today, number 41. Tyler is not a bad ref for the Raptors. And Jessica Christopher will be the umpire, number 21. So there's your ref report for Raptors 905 tonight versus Cleveland Charge. Yeah, that's how in-depth we're getting here. We're going to go ahead and do the refs for the G League games, all right? And if you're a Raptors fan, you just found my channel, this is what we do. That's right. And we're going to do some trivia on John Wallace. And I don't know how many people know who John Wallace is. We're going to have to see how far back our Raptor freaks go with their trivia knowledge today, because we're going way back to the early expansion days of the Toronto Raptors, the first 5 years of the Raptors before Vince Carter showed up. That's the expansion era. And, well, we're going to be back there now, like 30 years ago almost. That's right. Trevor J is in the house, and he has got his words of wisdom. Let's see what Trevor's saying here. Thank you, Commissioner Fun. An arrow can only be shot by pulling it backwards. So when life is dragging you back with difficulties, it means that it's going to launch you into something greater. So just focus. Yeah, I like this one. I've heard this one before. Adversity may be drawing you back and get that tension. And, well, when it let go, go on forward and take your rewards and your gifts and your lessons and your good stuff from it. That's right. Thank you, Trevor J. I love you, man. And thank you for the words of wisdom this morning. I hope you're having a fantastic start to your Tuesday. It's nice and warmer here. You know, I say it's warmer, but it's just below freezing. And it's, whoa, it's so nice. It's like I feel like it's summer here right now. I'm not going to lie. When it's minus 30 for a couple days in Canada, you finally get a -5 day. You're like, it's so hot today. It is really nice today, actually. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm going to get some stuff done today because it's the temperature is nicer today. That's for sure. All right, I guess we got some people here. So why don't we start the classic Jurassic Tuesday trivia in honor of our guy, John Wallace, who, you know, I messed up yesterday. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did. It was John's birthday yesterday, guys. It was John Wallace's birthday yesterday. He turned 51 yesterday. And I didn't note it. Well, we'll celebrate it now. So we're going to do John Wallace Classic Jurassic Tuesday Trivia starting right now. I know Fiercey's here, so I know she's ready to seagull all the answers in case nobody else will. So let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Yeah, all right, let's go. Question number 1. What is John Wallace's middle name, guys? What is John Wallace's middle name? Yeah, he shares it with a horrible podcaster. Yeah, I'll say that. I'll say that. What is John Wallace's middle name? This one may be hard. There you go. Fiercey knows. Yeah, Gilbert. That's right, Fiercey. His middle name is Gilbert. And I said he shares his name with a horrible podcaster. That's right. I said that. That's right. Horrible podcaster. Absolutely horrible podcaster. Gilbert Arenas. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's keep going. Question number 2. What 2 jersey numbers did John Wallace wear in his NBA career? What were the 2 numbers he wore? One of them's in the rafters, in, at somewhere. But, yeah, Jeff Teague also bad. Yeah. Jeff Teague is bad, too. For sure. Those guys are probably the 2 worst. They're pretty ignorant people. Yeah, 44 is one of the numbers, Fiercey. That's right. 44 is the main number. It's the number that he wore for the Raptors. What is the other number he had to wear later on in his career when 44 wasn't available to him later on in his career? What is the other number? Anybody else in here want to play? Fiercey, you may be scooping, and that's fine with me. I know you're being fair and nice. You want to see if somebody else wants to get it. But if we're going to say going once, going twice, you want to go ahead and scoop it, you scoop it. Let's get you some points today. That's right. Amit, you're not here, bro. Where are you, Amit? Amit, we need you to come and give us some competition. You're 18. No, it's not 18. It's a little bit higher. Yeah, that's Anthony Parker's. Yeah, I said higher, just a little bit higher than 18. She's trying to do this off the top of her head. I like this. I like this. She's no, the 44 was is the iconic number for him on our team. In some ways, I should say 44 John Wallace. I should start saying that in the future. It is higher than 18. I said that. Yeah, it's a little bit higher, not too much higher. In some ways, it has something to do with 44. 23 is close. It's extremely close. It is extremely close, Trevor. It's extremely close. Let's just say it has something in common with 44, the number. It's extremely close to 23. That should give you the clue right there. 25, no, it's not Chris Boucher's number. It is not Michael Jordan's number. You guys are going in the wrong direction. It was very close. There you go. Fiercely got it. When he couldn't have 44, he wore 22 because it's half of 44, and it's also two numbers in a row. So 44 and 22 are the two numbers that John Wallace wore when he played in the NBA. All right, let's keep going, guys. What is the nickname of John Wallace's alma mater? Like, he went to university. What is the college nickname for the school that he went to? So what is John Wallace? Like, we do this question often, the college nickname of the player. What is the college nickname for John Wallace? Yeah, Orange is exactly right, Fiercey. He is Syracuse Orange, and he is according to his Wikipedia, he is the third highest scorer in Syracuse Orangemen scoring history, behind like Lawrence Moten and Derek Coleman. So that's pretty cool. John Wallace, one of the leading scorers for the Syracuse Orange. And also, the thing about that is that the 44 is retired in Syracuse, as that Blackhawk has snuck in his Groucho Marx. I see you in disguise, hanging out in the back of the room there. All right, next question. How many games did John Wallace play as a Toronto Raptor? How many games did he play? Yeah, not even Carmelo Anthony scored that much over there. Wow. Yeah, he scored more than Carmelo, I think. I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure. But yeah, how many games did John Wallace play as a Toronto Raptor, guys? How many games did he get? Playoffs and regular season. How many games did John Wallace play in a Raptors jersey when he was playing in the NBA? 124. That is too low. 114, Trevor J. What are you talking about? 14 games for him. You must have missed a key right there. 14 games, Jacoby Walter. No, man, 160 is too high. So you got your high and your low. It's between those two numbers, Fiercey. So you got it somewhere in between. 145 is too high, Trevor J. It's too high. So you guys are narrowing it down. It's between 124 and 145. So you guys can get there. How many games did this man play? He played 2 years for the Raptors. 140 is too high. 130 is right. Trevor J is getting on the board today. 130 games in a Raptors jersey for John Wallace. Did you guys know that John Wallace played the most games for any team for the Raptors? He did not play more games for the other teams that he played for. He played the most games in his NBA career as a Raptor, and that was 130 games. That's right. All right, next question. What year, draft pick, and team was John Wallace in the NBA draft? What year, draft pick, and team? What pick in the draft? What year was it? And what was the team for John Wallace's draft into the NBA? What is the answers for that? Three-part answer, 200 points each. Tell me what pick, what year, and what team selected John Wallace in the NBA draft. That's right. Washington Wizard, Trevor? No, he was not a Wizard draft pick. He was not. That time, it would be the Bullets. It would still be the Bullets at this time. It was not the Wizards yet. This is how old we're going back. It was Washington Bullets when this man was drafted. Yeah, so yeah, that's not the right team. We'll keep going. Somebody else got to guess. What team drafted John Wallace, and what draft pick, and what year was he drafted in? That's right. That's right. Love to see the camaraderie between Fiercey clapping for Trevor. Chicago Bulls. He was not drafted by the Chicago Bulls. This is a lot more simpler than you would think, Trevor J. If you really think about this, if you know John Wallace, Boston Celtics, Fiercey. Wow, that's close. That's getting closer. That's probably the best guess so far. but that is not correct either. The New York Knicks is right, Fiercey. Of course, the Knicks drafted him. He's a Knicks legend, and he works for, well, let's just say this. The Sixers is not right. You had it right. Why did you go further? It is the Knicks. He got drafted by the Knicks. What year was he drafted in, and what pick was he drafted? What pick was he drafted? What pick and what year was John Wallace drafted? Uh, this is the next part of this question. You guys got the team. We need to get the pick and the year for the draft question. Yeah, let's see if anybody's going to guess it. Adriana got this one actually. He was drafted in the first round, 18th. That's right. He was drafted 18th, which is a pretty high draft pick in some ways. First round, 18th pick. And what year was that he got drafted, Fiercey? 19 is not right, Trevor. He was drafted 18th. 18th. What year was that he got drafted in? And, this is, you got to figure it out. If it's during the Raptors expansion time, you can kind of get the ballpark kind of years when that was, when the Raptors were a very young team and expansion. He wasn't drafted. You guessed right. Yeah, you did. You did. It was 18. You're guessing. 1995 is close. That is very, very close. It's not the right year. It's very close to the year that's right, though. So you're just off barely. So keep going. 97's too high, Trevor J. So you guys are really close on both sides. So whoever's going to write it in is going to get it because that will be the answer. See who's faster. Fiercey is. She's got the fast fingers. It's 1996 that John Wallace was drafted, 18th pick by the New York Knicks. That is the answer. New York Knicks, 1996, 18th pick. That's right. All right, let's keep going, guys. What is John Wallace's career high in a game? What is the most points he ever scored in a game? He did it twice, and he did do it on the Raptors both times. He was on the Raptors when he scored his career high, and he scored it twice. What is his career high? How many points did he score in the game? 41? That's too high. That's too high. Not a Kelly Olynyk. Nope, not that high. Nope. It's too high. Yeah, we'll have to see. 30 is right. Trevor got it. Wow, Trevor, great guess. It is 30, man. And he did it twice. So what two teams did John Wallace score 30 points against? What two teams were the teams that he scored the 30 bags on? What were the two teams, guys? Give me guesses on teams in the NBA that you think John Wallace scored 30 on. Drop that 30 on. Yeah. Who did he do that to? What were the two franchises in the NBA where John Wallace went out and dropped 30 on them in a Raptors jersey? Boston Celtics is right, Fiercey. On November the 18th, 1997, John Wallace dropped 30 on the Celtics. Yeah, that was awesome. And Raptors? No, he didn't do it to the Raptors. He was on the Raptors both times, so he couldn't have done it to himself. The Lakers. No, it's not the Lakers. It's not the Lakers. I would say this, what I told Adriana when we tested these questions yesterday. Think about who's going to get the most opportunities to play our team. And Western teams are not usually going to be the best answers, although they could be possible. That's true, but it's not the Lakers. It's not the Lakers. So, yeah, you're just naming teams you dislike. Well, name more. Don't wait. You waste your time. Just keep going. Name some more teams until we get this last team here. What team? Philadelphia? No, not Philadelphia. That's a better guess. That's a better guess. So, yeah, keep going. And this crazy thing is he scored these two 30-point games like within a week of each other, which is pretty good. Like he was on a hot streak. He got 30 against the Celtics. And then like 8 days later, he got 30 against the Atlanta Hawks. Trevor J found it. It is Atlanta Hawks that he scored 30 against on November the 26th, 1997. Trevor J, I love seeing you get on the board today. Get some of these answers. Very, very cool. Trevor's got 400 points so far today. There you go. Yeah, it wasn't the Knicks. It was the Celtics and the Hawks. All right, what is John Wallace's current occupation? What is John Wallace doing today for his occupation? What does he do? What is his role in the world at this point right now? What is he doing to take his time? What does he like to what is he involved in? What is John Wallace's current occupation in today's world post his playing career? What is this man doing right now? Yeah, what is he? Adriana got this one quick. Yeah, broadcaster. Okay. Give me the other half. Where is he a broadcaster at? Fiercey. Where is he a broadcaster at? And we'll get that. Yeah, that's right. He is a broadcaster for the Knicks. That's right. He's for MSG. He's on MSG Network right now, currently, as a broadcaster. He does shows for them on the Knicks network. He's very much a Knicks alumni. I know. I know. Throw up. Get it all out. Cleanse your body of the toxins. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. All right, next question. How many points did John Wallace score as a Toronto Raptor? How many total points did he score in the 130 games that he played for the Raptors? How many total points did John Wallace score in his Raptors career in his 2 years that he played for them on 130 games? How many points did he get to when he's playing for the Raptors? Y'all make sure you're live. It seems like y'all are late to respond. How many points did he score? Yeah, how many points did he score to as a Raptor in a Raptors uniform? Not in his whole career, just in the 2 years he was on the Raptors. 160? That's way too low. You think that man only scored 160 points in 130 games? That's crazy. That's crazy. That don't make no sense. 178, that's way too low. You guys don't even have half the number. You guys don't even have you guys have maybe not even a fifth of the number. There's a lot more than that. You better add another number to that. It's not a 3-digit number, y'all. Let's just put it that way. It's not a 3-digit number. It's a 4-digit number. So y'all better get up higher. This is insulting. 178 points in 130 games. What is that? That's like 1.2 points per game. Come on, yeah. This guy actually led the scoring for the Raptors in one of the years he played for us. So get it up there. 345. That's still insulting. I told you it's 1,500. That's close, Kareem. That is extremely close. Good morning to the butt dialer, our dunk champion. He is extremely close. Yeah, they are guessing. I know. It's a little low. It's a little low. I know they're guessing. It's just that it's really low, and Kareem's got it right in the ballpark. He's very close, actually. He's got the first two numbers right. Let's just put it that way. Kareem Thomas has got the first two numbers right. 1,500 what is what I want to see. Yeah, 1,580 is too high, Kareem. You're getting closer. 1,580 is too high. I'll say the 8 is the other number, though, and that'll give you another clue. So 1, 5, and 8 are right. 1,540, that's too low, Fiercey. That's too low. So somewhere in between the two numbers that you both got, and I'll say that the 8 is the last number. 1,568. That's too high. You're closer. Kareem's getting there. He's sniffing it out. He's getting real close. 1,568 is too high. 1,540 is too low. So you guys are getting there. I love to see Kareem Thomas in the chat. 1,558 is the number. Fiercey Salsera gets it. Yes, he scored 1,558 points in a Raptors jersey. And you want to know how many points he scored in a Knicks jersey? 770 points. So you tell me which team he did more for and was a part of more. He played more games for us, and he had more points for us. John Wallace of Syracuse. So yeah, 1,558 points. Fiercey got in there first. I can see it on my screen. Adriana could maybe confirm. And on the Knicks, he only scored 770 points. So yeah, you do the math. Twice as many points on the Raptors. That's right. That's right. So yeah, Fiercey, good job getting to there. Just beating Kareem, just barely there. All right, next question, guys. What team put John Wallace and the Syracuse Orangemen out of the Final Four in his senior year in university, in college? He was in the Final Four in his senior year on Syracuse Orange, and they lost in the Final Four, Syracuse. What team put out John Wallace out of the Final Four in his senior year in college on Syracuse Orangemen? Yeah, thank you, Adriana, for the confirmation. Georgetown's a great guess. It's not right, Kareem. Duke is a great guess. Not right. It is a big program like those two. So keep going in that direction, guys. Yeah, this team has a connection to our team. Let's just put it that way. So that may be a good clue right there. Kentucky is right, Kareem Thomas. It was the Kentucky Wildcats, and I see you sneaking it in right before Fiercey on my screen. Adriana, confirmation that KT got this one over Fiercey, because it looks like he snuck in the Wildcats right before. Yeah, it was Kentucky Wildcats that eliminated Syracuse Orange at that time, and it was John Calipari. I think no, it was Rick Pitino. It was Rick Pitino, I think, at that time. Rick Pitino was the coach of Kentucky, and Jim Boeheim was the coach of Syracuse. That's right. Thank you, Adriana, for confirmation. And good job, KT. Patino. Yeah, it was Patino at that time. It wasn't Calipari yet. Yeah, it was Patino at that time, back in the 90s. That's right. All right, let's keep going. We're about halfway through our John Wallace Classic Jurassic Tuesday Trivia. You know, we're going to get to all the old Raptors alumni at some point. John Wallace isn't important. Raptors alumni turning 51 years old yesterday. Happy birthday, John Wallace. That's right. How many dunks did John Wallace throw down as a Raptor in the Raptor jersey? In the 2 years of 130 games playing as a Raptor, how many times did he dunk it in a Raptors jersey, playoffs and regular season? Yeah, how many dunks did he get as a Raptor? I love these high-low ones. They're fun. They're fun. I feel like you guys can get into that. 125 is too high. I feel like Bob Barker when I do this. These ones, it's like too high, it's too low, it's too high. Well, 80 is too low. Good morning, Randolph. Good to see you, Randolph. 22 is too low. 155 is too high. 100 is too high. 100 is too high. So we got a in between 80 and 100 is your window right now. 94. Wow. Boom goes the dynamite. KT got it. He has 94 dunks in his NBA career with the Raptors. 2 years of playing for the Raptors, 94 dunks in 130 games. So yeah, 94 is the correct answer. Good job, KT, hunting it down. Did you just throw that number out there out of the blue? What made you say 94 over 90 or something like that? That's very interesting. Very, very good. Very, very good. Either way, I won't question it. He got it. He got it. That's right. All right, next question. Switching up a little bit. 89. 89. You meant to put 95. Well, look at you. Your mistake was actually right. All right. Guys, this is a little bit of a switch up on this question, so be ready to change your mind as far as what you're thinking about. What motion picture does John Wallace appear in as a character named Lonnie? What major motion picture does John Wallace appear in as a character named Lonnie? Lonnie. He's Lonnie. What major motion picture? Like this is no small potatoes. This is a famous movie. Does John Wallace actually act in and play a character named Lonnie? Yeah, think about this. Get your thinking cap on this. You know, Adriana kind of figured this out, or no, Steve did. He got game is right. Do you remember this, KT, from watching it? The Spike Lee movie starring Denzel Washington and Ray Allen also stars John Wallace as Lonnie, and the movie is He Got Game. That's right. You remember John Wallace in it. Cool, man. I like that. See, KT's old school like me. He's an old head like me. He can remember this. John Wallace running around with Ray Allen on Spike Lee's movie there. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Good job. Very, very good job. All right. One he don't shoot to miss. That's one shot and one make right there. One shot, one make. He got game. Indeed. All right. Yeah. And Fiercey's admiring that too. There you go. All right. Here comes the big question, the money question. How much money did John Wallace earn in NBA contracts in his NBA career? How much money? We're going to round it to the closest million. What is the number? How much money did John Wallace make in his NBA career? Yeah, this is going to be interesting right here. How much money you guys think he made his whole entire NBA career in contracts? Yeah, 18 million is too high. I know, isn't that crazy? 18 million is too high. I know. He even made a conservative guess because he knows the money was different back then. Yeah, 18 million is too high. 12 million is too high. 12 million is too high, Fiercey. Isn't that crazy? 12 million is too high. Yeah, it really has changed. The money in the NBA has completely changed. 10 million is right. KT's getting it. He made $10 million in his I think it was like in the league 9 years. It's crazy, man. You got to realize though, in the 80s, Michael Jordan made like $1.25 million for playing in a year. The best players in the league only made like $1 million. Like that's it. Like 1.25 in the 80s. So in the mid 90s, the money wasn't totally up there yet. It wasn't until Garnett. Garnett started getting these huge contracts in the early 2000s. And that was when the money started exploding. So John Wallace was before that in the mid 90s, and $10 million is how much he made, man. Yeah. Kids could make that in NIL in college right now. I know. And you could think about like How many role players are making 10 million in the league right now? And John Wallace was actually a pretty paid player at that time, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, 10 million total. I mean, that's $10 million, and hopefully he was investing right and things are good, and he's still got some of his fortune. You'd like to think that somebody makes $10 million in their life, that they still have a chunk of it around, even if it's 30 years later, right? You'd like to think, right? Let's keep going. Good job, guys. John Wallace is a board member for what foundation that helps underprivileged kids? John Wallace is into philanthropy, and has an interest in trying to help underprivileged children. And what is the board that he's on a board? What is the foundation called that he is on a board for to help with underprivileged kids? What is the name of the foundation? Is what I'm looking at for right here. And well, fast fingers, different people. You want to go look for it? There you go. Slug Deezy found it. Good morning to Slug Deezy, the king of the classic card. Heavenly Productions Foundation is the foundation that John Wallace is involved in to help underprivileged youth. Yeah, Slug Deezy getting in there and getting it. You looked it up, Fiercey? Yeah, Slug did too. But he got in there and got it. Good job, Slug Deezy. Good morning to you, sir. Good to see you in the chat. All right, we got 4 more questions. And well, they're going to be fun. So let's get into them. Guys, what is John Wallace's top 5 Raptors teammates that he played games with? You know, he did play games more with some of the Knicks, but what former Raptors were the top players that he played the most games with as a teammate? And Slug Easy, please don't go in there too crazy. Let's try and guess off the top of our head. Vince Carter is not right. He is in the top 10. Alvin Williams is not right. He is in the top 10, but he is not in the top 5. These guys did play with John Wallace, but they're not in the top 10. Damon Stoudemire's not right either. He's not in the top 10 either, but he's in the top 10, but he didn't make it. D Brown's a great guess. These guys are all in the top 10, but not the top 5. You're close. D Brown's a great guess too, man. Nah, you guys got to think about connections with the Knicks and the Raptors because they may have played on both sides. Hello, Calderon. Hello, Gionk. Good guess. Not really. Marcus Camby's a fantastic guess. It's not right. Slug Deezy's going to say Tracy McGrady. He's going to get the first one. Tracy McGrady is the 3rd most games played with John Wallace in his career out of all the former Raptors. Good morning to Smooth Brown Man. Good to see you. Seymour saying, big up John Wallace, a man I've molded my game after, living legend. There you go. You like that. Charles Oakley. KT's getting number 2 on the list is Charles Oakley. He played the 2nd most games with Charles Oakley because he did actually play with him on the Knicks also, right? John Thomas is a great guess, Reggie. He is actually number 6 on the list, but not in the top 5. Doug Christie is number 1 on the list, Fiercey. That's right. John Wallace played the most games with Doug Christie, former Raptor, out of all the people. Now, I think he played the most games technically with Allen Houston, but we're doing former Raptors as far as who has he played the most games with as former Raptors. Charlie Ward is not on the list because he did not play for the Raptors. Sean Marks is not right. That's a good guess, though. Reggie Slater is, though. Slug Deezy getting Reggie Slater. He did play. He's number 5 on the list. There's one more guy on this list. It's a former Raptor that played the most games with John Wallace. And, well, he didn't just play with him on the Raptors. That's part of the reason why he's on this list. And that's part of the reason why Oakley and those other guys. Chris Childs is right. Seymour got the last name crazy, but Chris Childs is the 4th player. And boom goes the dynamite. I love how so many different people picked up those ones. We got 2 for Slug, 1 for Seymour, 1 for Cream, and 1 for Fiercey. So going over it real quick, John Wallace's top 5 teammates in his career played the most games with that were Raptors. Doug Christie, number 1. Charles Oakley, number 2. Tracy McGrady, number 3. Chris Childs, number 4. And Reggie Slater, number 5. That's it right there. Yeah, Naz lookalike, Chris Childs. Yeah. Underrated Raptor legend, Chris Childs. That's right. In some ways, he gets forgotten by the Knicks nation because he jumped the Raptors nation and destroyed the Patrick Ewing era with Charles Oakley in a Raptors jersey wearing a headband. And that's why, in some ways, we need to respect and love Chris Childs more often here. Yeah, he might be getting that classic Jurassic trivia treatment at some point. Seriously. Yeah. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Almost bumbled us out of the playoffs. Yeah, but he also helped us win it too. That's the thing. Chris Childs, I give him so much credit, man. He really did. Those guys really wanted to beat the Knicks. The whole energy of the Raptors' first playoff series win, A lot of it was driven by Charles Oakley. Let's just put it that way. And Chris Childs felt the same way as Charles Oakley because he was on the Knicks before too, and he wanted to get that get back. That's right. They wanted to get that get back. That was some crazy times back then. All right, next question. All right, we did this new type of question last week, and we're going to do it for the second time today. What 3 NBA players were John Wallace's sons? They never ever beat John Wallace. All 3 of them were 0-5 against John Wallace. Let's just get guesses, and I'll give clues as you go. There's 3 players on this list who never beat John Wallace in their career. They were 0-5 against him in the history of meeting up in their NBA careers. 3 players are on this list. And if I get a guess, I'll give you a clue. Every guess, I'll give you a clue for it. We'll get closer to it. Jerry Stackhouse is not one of the players. I will tell you that all 3 of these players played center. So think about centers during the era of John Wallace and who might not have been able to beat him as far as centers. So these are all centers. No guards, no forwards. These are centers on this list. All 3 of the names. Zon Tabak. That's a great guess. It is not the former original Raptor, Jean Tabak. I will say this: one of these guys on here has the same last name as an adult gift shop in American history. In an adult gift shop in a mall in American history. If you know that one, you could get the last name of one of these players. Patrick Ewing is not one of the players. John Wallace did not have an undefeated record against Patrick Ewing. Jermaine O'Neal, interesting guess, is not right either. Horace Grant is not right either. Reggie wants to know if they're Eastern teams. One of the guys is Eastern, and the other 2 are more from Western teams. Yeah, Dikembe Mutombo is a great guess. This person would be one of these people was on a team with him. Randolph, get live. You're on the. You're too late. You're guessing stuff crazy. Ilgauskas, Horace Grant. These are not right. Ilgauskas is an interesting guess. Let me say this. One of the players on this is the tallest player to ever play in the NBA's history. I'll give you that clue right now. If you know that answer, you can get one of these. One of these players played for the Nuggets, and let me see, what's a good way to do that? George Mirzan's right, Slug DZ. George Mirzan never beat John Wallace. He's 0-5 against him. So, yeah, George Mirzan was that answer. That's one of them. And remember, one of these guys is a center who has the same last name as an adult gift shop that was prevalent in American malls and still is. I think they're still in the malls. You know, if you know that name, Randolph, man, hit live, bro. Alonzo Mourning. No, not Alonzo. Sean Bradley. Yeah, no, not Sean Bradley. If you guys know about this gift shop that's at the mall, you can get it. Yeah, Randolph, man, you are not live, bro. You're crazy with your numbers, throwing the numbers at me. Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys know about American malls? Like Hot Topic is a store, right? This store would be a lot like Hot Topic if you know about this gift shop. That's very much a staple in most American malls. There may even be, I don't know if they have them up here. Maybe not. I don't know. All right. The other player, his first name is the same as the same first name as the big Winnipeg center for the Sixers. Same first name as the big Winnipeg center for the Sixers. And that'll give you at least the first name of the third person. Chris Mills, Sam Perkins, David Robinson. None of these are right. Sean Bradley. None of these are right. George Mirzan's right. Todd Fuller is right. Look at Slug Deezy figuring it out. Todd Fuller is the Todd I was looking for. Wow. Slug Deezy, high level. Very, very high level right here by getting Todd Fuller. Wow. I'm really impressed with that. All right. The last name on the list is the gift shop, the adult gift shop at the mall. Yeah, Todd Fuller. Who the fuck is Todd Fuller? That's right. Slug Deezy, King of the Classic Card, knows who Todd Fuller is. That is right. Wow. Really, really good. All right. Remember, malls. This was a gift shop, and you walk in, and they'd have like all kinds of gross, weird, like they'd have all kinds of weird stuff in there. They'd have like fart machines, and they'd have like adult edible panties, and they'd have like a section in the back with posters of all the hair metal bands and hot girls and basketball players and stuff like that. And you could get really cool T-shirts there too, like South Park T-shirts and stuff like that. Yeah, the mall sex shop. I'm still pushing it. Yeah, because if you guys don't know this, it's not a sex shop. It's just like it was a gift shop. It was a gift shop. Maybe it's a Canada US thing. You guys, yeah, Kareem knows the name of it. That's the last name of the player, the last player. That may help Slug Deezy right there get it. Seriously, right there. You just got the last name right there. Yeah. No, it's the last name, Slug Deezy, not the first name. It's the last names. And Spencer Hawes is way too recent. You know that. Come on now. Yeah. Who has the last name Spencer, who played center in the NBA around the same time as John Wallace played in the NBA? Yeah. You love that store? Yeah, I'm glad you got the store. Seriously, Felton Spencer's right. Stargate knows. Stargate knows that the Minnesota Timberwolves. Felton Spencer is the right answer. Stargate coming in. The man who escaped the machine, escaped this one. Yeah, Felton Spencer. Todd Fuller and George Mirzan never beat John Wallace. They were all 0-5 against him in their careers when they faced him in games. Yeah, that's it right there. Good stuff, man. Good stuff, man. I'm glad we got to this. It's good to know that we can get to this. You know what I'm saying? And once again, Randolph is still throwing down those numbers. You got to hit live, Randolph. Seriously. He'll finally get to this and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I was doing that. All right, 60. 60. Wow. Look, 8. All right, two more questions, guys. Two more questions. Didn't Felton play for Utah as well as a bit? Yeah, he did. He was drafted by the Timberwolves, played his first couple years in Minnesota, and then he did play for Utah also. You were right. Exactly. I think he even was on some of those Jazz teams with Karl Malone and John Stockton that went to very far in the playoffs, right? So, yeah, speaking of that, let's go to the next question. Who was John Wallace's kryptonite? A guy that he could never beat. He was 0-9 against this guy, and it's kind of crazy. And well, we'll piggyback off of Stargate saying that Felton Spencer played for Utah. That's a clue right there. So who did John Wallace never beat? Yeah. Full name answers, please. We're not doing this Jordan stuff. Jordan who? Jordan Wara? That's right. Grant Hill. That's a good guess. He plays the right position, but it's not Grant Hill. Kobe Bryant is on this list, but he's 0-8. That was going to be the next answer, actually, Slug Deezy. So you're a little ahead. You're going to get Kobe Bryant because he is going to be an answer in like the next question. I'm not going to tell him it's not right because Kobe was kryptonite to John Wallace. He was 0-8 against Kobe. Kobe beat him 8-0. John Stockton, Michael Jordan, Anthony Hardaway, Moses Malone. Nope. Think about Utah once again. This player played on Utah with that team I just talked about with Felton Spencer, Antoine Carr, and John Stockton and Karl Malone. Tony Kukoc. Nope, not Karl Malone. Tony Kukoc. No, think about the guy who was guarding Jordan in that final series. The guy who had to guard him the most. And in some ways, it's tough. And this is the Jazz final series where they wore the purple mountain jerseys. That finals. Yeah, John Hornacek is close. It's close. The next guy, not the white guy, the black guy who had to guard Jordan. That guy. You know what I'm talking about then. If you can remember his name and what he looks like, you get him. He's the guy who beat John Wallace 9-0. Brian Russell is the answer. That's right. He didn't spell Brian right, but I'll take it. Stargate getting it. He knows his knowledge. Brian Russell never got beat by John Wallace in a single NBA game when they took the court. He is a perfect 9-0 versus John Wallace. Brian Russell. That's right. Push off. Yeah, you're close, man. You are close. Adriana, we're giving it to Stargate, right? I think it's Stargate. Slug Deezy's saying Shaq. No, Shaq's not the other answer. I got one more answer on here. Who was the other person who was 8-0 versus John Wallace? Kobe Bryant is one of the answers. You already got it. Who's the other one? Thank you, Adriana. Who's the other one? This guy. There's one guy who got 8-0 versus him. Tim Duncan? No, it's not Tim Duncan. This is somebody who played with Kobe and Tim Duncan, though. Jordan pushed off on that last shot. That's right. David Robinson? No, it's somebody who played with David Robinson, though. I think, no, maybe not. This guy got a championship with Tim Duncan and with Kobe Bryant. So let's just put it that way. Yeah, Robert Horry is right. Seymour got it. Robert Horry is the other player that John Wallace never beat at a high level. 8-0 versus John Wallace, Robert Horry. So the three names were Brian Russell, Kobe Bryant, and Robert Horry were the kryptonite for John Wallace. He couldn't beat these guys. Big shot Bob. That's right. There you go. Good job, y'all. Last question of the day. And let's see who gets it. Who did John Wallace play against the most in his career? Most games against, 20 games against this player. Who was the player that he had to line up against the most games in his NBA career? Not the record or anything like that. Who do you have to play the most in his whole entire NBA career? This we'll get a guess and I'll give you a clue. Nobody try and go look it up. Slug DZ, I know you know where to look for it, but just go ahead and guess and we'll try and get there. Jason Kidd's a great guess. It's the right position. It's the right position. Alonzo Mourning is not the right position, but the right conference. Kerry Kittles is the right division. So how about that? But these aren't the right answers. You're getting a little bit of the what is it? The Pirtle. You're doing a Pirtle with me here. John Stockton's the wrong division, right position. Wrong conference, right position. Kerry Kittles is the right division. Alonzo Mourning is the right conference. Jason Kidd's the right position. Yeah. This one we're gonna figure this out. Kobe Bryant is the wrong conference and he's the wrong position. John Stockton and Jason Kidd are the right position. Although, it could be argued that this guy played the same position as Kobe Bryant. Could be argued. That could be argued. Yeah. Lindsey Hunter. Wow. You're digging deep on that one. That is the right position and it is the right conference. But I wouldn't say, that's not the right level of player. Level of player is more like the other guys. There you go. Stargate got it. It's Allen Iverson, guys. Charlie Ward, BJ Armstrong. No, Stargate's getting them today. It's Allen Iverson. He played 20 games against Allen Iverson in his career. So that's the trivia, y'all. You got it, all the answers. Good job. John Wallace, Classic Jurassic Trivia is done. And I appreciate Adriana for being the trivia commissioner and helping me adjudicate on things here. And wow, good job, y'all. I hope you learned something about expansion player John Wallace. And, the thing I learned the most about him from doing the research is that he's really more of a Raptor in some ways than a Knick. Sure, he's around the Knicks and he's alumni strong with them and he shows up and he doesn't really come here or does anything with us. He turns back. But much like Chris Bosh, all of his important years, his most productive years, his best years in the league are in a Raptors jersey. And he got twice as many points in a Raptors jersey than he did in a Knicks jersey. So, in some ways, John Wallace, that's fine. You go ahead and broadcast for the Knicks. You go ahead and turn your back on your Raptors past. That's fine. We'll celebrate you today, and maybe we'll just forget about you tomorrow. How about that? Wow, that's it right there. See what's saying? I thought Nwara was going to turn into a John Wallace. Guess not. Yeah, he's a weird one. I don't know. John Wallace was an interesting player. He was a true small forward. He had very good scoring ability. He didn't really have a great outside shot, but he was very good in mid-range, and he was very good near the basket too. He wasn't totally a great rebounder, but he could get a few of them there. It's an interesting player. I can very distinctly remember watching John Wallace era Raptors, and like Shoppers Drug Mart was one of our biggest advertisers. We actually sold a lot of tickets at the drugstore for the Raptors games at that time. And I can remember like hanging out at like a family event like Christmas and my cousins and I going and watching the very new Raptors on a TV and watching John Wallace and John Thomas and Reggie Slater and Doug Christie, that era team play in a game. And the way it used to be back then watching Raptors games was it was so new that you just kind of were like taking it in. And we didn't care about winning, guys. That's the crazy thing. In some ways, it wasn't so diehard like win or bust. It was really just like, we're glad to be here. We're getting entertained by something new that's just kind of fun to watch. Our players are not the same level as the rest of the league. So in some ways, we shouldn't expect to win a lot, but we'd compete. These guys would play hard nosed and they would go all out. And, in some ways, that makes you endeared to Damon Stoudemire, Tracy Murray, John Wallace, Doug Christie. And, there were a lot of times where we overachieved and the Raptors would do well and they'd beat a team they didn't deserve or shouldn't have beaten. And that was so much fun. The expansion years are weird. They were a lot of losing, but at that time we didn't care. It wasn't this whole crazy championship or bust or overly analyzing the team. In some ways, it was a novel new thing in the city of Toronto. And we just were enjoying being a part of the NBA. And it was just so new and fun. It was so fun. A lot of the pressure that we have today there was nowhere near that kind of pressure. And it was just kind of like, we're an expansion team. We're expected to lose. Let's just watch basketball. Let's learn the NBA and let's enjoy it. Some ways I wish that we could get back some of that kind of energy for the new fans. Seriously. In some ways, I wish y'all had been there for the expansion years so you could understand it, some of y'all new fans. because it's really the way most fans should enter being a fan of the Raptors, is humbled and kind of understanding, you know what, look, we should be happy we're just here. And some of y'all's entitlement about the Raptors and what you think they should be doing, you have no idea our history, and especially in the first 5 years of our team, what it was like. Yeah. Yeah. That's something right there, man. It's something right there. Yeah. Let me see. Let me see what y'all are saying here after the trivia. Good job, everyone. I love that. Adriana, great job, too. Appreciate you. Great trivia. Thank you. I thought, oh, yeah, I read that. And last night, the NBA introduced the Royal Rumble. Yeah, bars. Okay. This is one of those things like, I'm like, when you play teams during the season, sometimes it's just luck what happens around that time, whether it's, sadly injuries or a big huge fight like what happened in Charlotte last night. We're going to play the Pistons tomorrow, and I don't know if how quick they're going to adjudicate on this fracas that went down in Charlotte last night. They'll probably do it today. I hope they do it today. In some ways, they'd be better off starting the suspension now before the All-Star break. So go ahead and suspend Jalen Duren and Beef Stew for our game tomorrow, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. Please, please go ahead, do it. If he doesn't do it and he holds off on it and he doesn't have a suspension for them until after the All-Star break, I mean, like, that's fucked up. In some ways, do we really do want to play the best version of the Detroit Pistons, right? But I don't know if we will, because these guys might be getting suspended this afternoon for, yeah. And Beef Stew's going to get suspended a lot, guys. I'm going to say this right now. He has a track record of getting suspended and getting flagrants and getting technicals. And he left the bench. And this is a cardinal sin. This is one of the biggest cardinal sins. He left the bench last night to come at Jalen Duren, or not Jalen Duren, but to come and protect Jalen Duren from Miles Bridges. And he's going to get the book thrown at him. It could very well be that Isaiah Stewart may get treated as a example, and he could be suspended for the rest of the season, y'all. I'm not joking. I'm serious. Adam Silver could make an example out of him because he has a track record once again. And on the down low, the NBA may not like that Pistons are being the top at the conference, and they may want to hurt them for this. Like, that's the crazy thing about this little fracas that happened last night, is that this could actually really hurt the Pistons being number one in the East. That they love New York and Boston, and they'd rather see them on top. So I could see them really hammering them with suspensions with those two guys. Now it's tougher with Duren because Duren's an all-star. Duren is kind of going to be at the all-star break, and now he's coming off this fight right before the all-star break. That's not what the NBA wants to put on showcase at the all-star break. This guy who just got into a melee just before the break started. In some ways, also Jalen Duren, I don't think he has as much punishment as Isaiah Stewart. So it's very likely that he's not going to get suspended as badly as Beef Stew. This Beef Stew was not involved in this. He did not have to do what he did, and he did come over there. And Freddie said this on Unguarded Podcast, Fred VanVleet, that this is a huge cardinal sin. And that if you come off the bench, they're so touchy about this, they will nail you for this because they just don't want any kind of malice in the palace ever happen again. And when you start coming at people from off the bench, that's more people involved all of a sudden. And Mark Lindsay and John Goebel are having a hard time holding it down when people are coming all over the place. That's why the trainers, the coaches, everybody who's staff is going to get out there and break it up because they know this is bad for the NBA and they're going to get out there. Now, I'm going to say this right now. I believe that Musa Diabate, who is a great young man. In fact, we've heard RJ Barrett talk about him recently because he's friends with him, that he's just a good dude. He loves this guy. And even Karthika was standing up for Musa last night on Blue Skies. The dude's a good kid, man. This is not normal behavior for him. This is not the kind of thing. He actually literally lost completely his temper. And I can see why it happened. Duren was dirty. He pushed him in the face almost on a push off to get room that kind of started the whole thing, but they were already chippy before that. In fact, you could hear in the clip the announcer saying the refs may need to call this or something like that because the refs in some ways are not calling the whistle as often as they should, and things are building up. In some ways, I also wonder if the stuff that happened on the NBA courts last night in Charlotte and with the Minnesota game also partly indicative of our world kind of going a little wacky right now and uncertainty and a lot of weird grim shit that's kind of going on in the United States. Either way, Diabate lost his shit and he went at Jalen Duren. And I'm not mad at him for that because in some ways that's a brave thing to do, first of all. And honestly, they can act like he's not guilty, but Duren instigated that shit. JB Bickerstaff saying bullshit after the game that, oh, they crossed the line and they caused this and stuff like that. Nah, Diabate's a good kid. He's not normally going to do shit like this. He really got physically pushed around in a way that he thought was disrespectful. And well, he lost his temper. And people are going to lose their temper sometimes. Jalen Duren is a physical player, and some ways he's a big, strong guy, and he doesn't need to take cheap shots to do what he does out there because he can just be physically himself. And in some ways, maybe the Pistons are being at the top of the league, are being a little dirty and playing a little bit of a very physical kind of game. JB Bickerstaff's probably telling them to. So I'm not blaming Musa. I feel like Musa is he's the person that just doesn't fit this. He's not this kind of guy. I'm telling you right now. Miles Bridges, well, he is. He is. And it's funny. He came over there. And did you guys hear what Jalen Duren said after the game? He said, oh, of course, Miles Bridges came to try and hit on me, but usually he's hitting women. That's what Jalen Duren literally said after the game. He took a shot at Miles Bridges for that. And man, in some ways, Miles Bridges act like I'm a real one. I'm standing up for Musa. I'm coming in there. No, man, you're a knucklehead, man. You didn't need to come running over there just as much as Beef Stew didn't either. So yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. And expect Isaiah Stewart to be suspended from most of the rest of the season. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be like 25 games, guys. And I could see Duren getting maybe like 5 or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to see. The other fight last night wasn't as intense, but it was still very heated and crazy. It was between Naz Reid and Mohamedou Gui. And yeah, it was a little bit of just a kind of tempers boiling over from physicality kind of thing once again. Well, it'll be interesting to see what the ruling is. Is there any breaking news right now? Have they ruled on this yet? Because I kind of should be checking that. It's probably too soon. Whether the availability of Duren and Stewart is going to be happening tomorrow. We'll have all the latest lineup news tomorrow morning on the preview for the Raptors versus the Pistons, first game of the season tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. It's like timing, guys. Like we're all ships in the night in the ocean of the NBA. And when your ship passes the other ship, maybe some people got in a fight on the deck over shuffleboard. And they're in the captain's galley because they are in trouble and they're under a house arrest inside the ship all of a sudden. So they can't play. It's just when you cross by the ship, sometimes things happen like that. Like all of a sudden you got James Harden. I was really disappointed that the Nuggets couldn't beat the Cavs last night. They were beating them for most of the game, and then James Harden hit this shot and put them in close, and then all of a sudden Cleveland did win. I was really hoping we could get closer to them. Dang it, Nuggets. Why couldn't you take care of business like the Blazers did? The Blazers beat the Sixers, holding them back from us from underneath. But man, I was rooting for you, Nicola. Why couldn't y'all beat the Cavs last night? Come on now, beat the Cavs. Help us out. Let's get up over them. That's right. Fiercely saying this. Speaking of expansion, it seems there are resurfaced talks on Las Vegas and Seattle being the main prospects, but both are Western Conference. Yeah, Fiercely, this is not news. This has been known for about 5 years that the next two teams to get expansion are probably going to be Seattle and Las Vegas. They're the front runners, and then behind them is probably Montreal and Mexico City. Those are probably the next two cities after that. Yeah, Seattle is very legitimate because NBA has been talking to the city planners and the city officials about getting them back in Seattle. So I think this is very likely. And I think Vegas, the way things have changed with the Raiders being there and the Golden Knights, Vegas is now open for sports being there, and it just makes it would make sense for them to be there. The Aces are there now. So, it's very likely that these are the two teams they'll expand to. Now, your question about it being both Western, well, they'll shift teams and they'll do it geographically to have them balanced. They'll put those two teams in the Western Conference, and you'll see something like Memphis Grizzlies become an Eastern Conference team, which makes sense because Memphis is kind of closer to a lot of the Eastern teams than the Western teams. So you could even see New Orleans become an Eastern team all of a sudden. So that's how they do it. They could even switch Minnesota to be an Eastern team. So one of those three teams would switch to the Eastern Conference. That's realignment. And it's a very common thing in sports leagues over the years. Baseball realigns itself all over the place in the history of the MLB. And well, we would realign the league geographically to make more sense. And it's probably likely that the three teams that I just named would be the candidates that would go to the East out of the different teams. So Randolph's here. Yeah, he's saying Antonio Davis. Yeah, you're a little late, Randolph. You're a little late. Hit that live button, my guy, please, sir. Stargate saying it should be Seattle, but I believe it's going to be Vegas because of the money and the betting interest. Yeah, yeah, and Vegas is like a destination place. It's not really about the casinos as much. It's about the entertainment. It's more like Disney World. It's not as much like it used to be. The original concept of Vegas was very adult, and it's not anymore. It's very kid friendly in Vegas at this point in a lot of ways. So let's see. Stargate saying, and if it's Seattle, look for Dwayne Casey to be the president. Yeah, I'd love that. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, I could see this. He's not going to coach because he's getting too old for this crap. Like Murtaugh on Lethal Weapon. I just imagine like Dwayne Casey being like that sometimes. Like, I'm getting too old for this crap. Riggs with your crazy ass shit, Mel Gibson. I feel like he has that energy sometimes. Dwayne Casey, like Roger Murtaugh and the Lethal Weapon series, Danny Glover is kind of, oh, I'm getting too old for this shit. My crazy ass partner. He can't coach anymore. He doesn't want to coach anymore because he's too old for that, but he will definitely sit in the front office. Yeah, definitely sit in front office. Like Easy saying, Walt Williams was my guy back in the day, the wizard. Yeah, Walt Williams, man. Yeah, he was fun. Yeah, man, he was cool, man. The thing that you liked about Walt the Wizard, was he was on a level of Magic Johnson to an extent, right? There was a lot of fancy stuff he did with passing and like stuff that made you feel like he's on some sort of level in the evolution towards Magic Johnson in this league. And Walt the Wizard Williams was a fantastic player for the Raptors early on. He was really entertaining to watch. And yeah, he's a good one, man. I loved him too, man. He was fun. Seymour's saying, I respect Beef Stew a lot. Don't mess with my teammates. I would have done the same thing. Call me a knucklehead. I'm just loyal like that. What? That whole season? Yeah, it's just because of the track record. And, he should know better, is what they'll say. It's like, you know better than this. We punish you so many times, and you're going to come running out there like that. I mean, I get it too, Seymour. And I understand that. And I respect the quality that you just described, that you hold with Stewart. I respect that, man. I respect that so much. Fight the power, rage against the machine. Sure, man. I'm with that. And if Beef Stew doesn't mind paying the price, well, let him go do it, is what I say. But the league don't want this shit. They don't need no Ron Artest, meta world peace. This ain't world peace. Malice in the Palace kind of action. No, and it doesn't help that it's the Pistons also. Let's just put it that way. That franchise has got a history of a lot of unnecessary physicality and stuff like that. You go talk to Bill Lambier. Yeah, we could talk about the Malice in the Palace and how that all went down with Ben Wallace and Jermaine O'Neal and all that. Yeah, that was bad. It was bad. Yeah, yeah. Reggie saying Isaiah Stewart has a screw loose. Man, in some ways, he's just. I mean, that's what Fred said, right? And it's funny because he said this in his podcast a couple of weeks ago. There are guys in this league that are crazy and will throw down. They want to, like they're ready to. Seriously, not everybody in the league's like this. A lot of people aren't. Scotty's not like this. I can tell you right now, Scotty's not trying to fight anybody. And if somebody did try and fight him, unless they swung on him first, he's not swinging. He's not swinging because he has more control over himself and anger. But there are guys that are like that. That's what Fred said. Some guys that come in the league, they're prep stars, then they're softies, and they're not really that all bowdy. But there are guys that are bowdy, and Isaiah Stewart's one of them. Oh yeah, he's bowdy. He's a real one like that. Let's just put it that way. Throwing hands. Some of these guys will throw hands, and some of them won't. Musa Diabate would throw hands last night. He got in that mindset that he would actually throw hands, and he did. He did. So we'll have to see. He's going to get suspended too, for sure. All four of those guys that were involved in that last night in Charlotte will get suspended. Con Knippo's funny. He's saying, I got in the middle of it because I knew Musa wouldn't hit me in the face. But you guys said, yeah, of course he wouldn't hit you in the face. He's your teammate, He's your teammate. That's right. Fiercely saying this. It would be nice to have Duran out. Duran, not Duran, Duran. However, we need to gauge how we will play him with or without Jakob. Either way, I mean, we can't control who's going to show up on the other team for all kinds of different reasons. And it's sad to hear about Johnny Furphy getting a torn ACL in the game against the Sierra Knight. It kind of looked like that when it happened. I didn't want to say it at that time because I wanted to wish the best for him. But yeah, he tore his ACL when he dunked that and he landed wrong on his leg. We can't control who's going to be showing up for games. Injury, suspension, all kinds of different stuff. So, we're going to have to play the Pistons a bunch still before the end of the season because we haven't even played them yet. So if we get a game where we don't have to play Duran and Stewart, there will be a chance to gauge against them at some point, I'm sure, unless Stewart's suspended for the rest of the year. So we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. Smooth saying he can really hurt someone. He's a very dangerous player. Yeah, that whole thing that happened with him and LeBron in the last couple years, where the blood was running down Stewart's face, man, he was so mad in that. So mad. And you're right. He could hurt some people. And you saying he has a screw loose. That's right, man. Gionk is saying only Giannis Valanciunas can face Stewart. Yeah. I mean, Jakob could face off with him a little bit. He's got some good strength. Steven Adams. I don't know. Steven Adams. I got to start to think that some of these youngsters on our team, like Trace and Colin, might be okay too. I mean, Colin's crazy, man. I mean, Colin's, I don't know. Colin Murray-Boyles has been surprising me this year, man. Seriously. Seymour saying, laugh out loud. Beef stew was watered down when it came to Valanciunas. Yeah, they had a little bit of and well, Lithuanian guy is like yeah, he's strong. He's a big dude. He's no mess. Have you ever seen, I mean, back in the day I can remember young Jonas getting a little hot-headed and getting a little bit into frecuses. Him and Serge, when they were paired up together on our team, they could be physical with people for sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think many people are trying to mess with Jonas Valanciunas. And on the download, that's true for Jakob Pertl too, guys. Just so you know, Jakob could look so happy and nice, and he looked good last night in his little suit with no tie and his shirt at the Rap City social event last night. The Raptors having their annual gala affair where they get dressed up and they had a red carpet. And this is the one where they did last year where they had the painting competition and Brandon won with his painting of the Raptor. Yeah, this event happened last night and there was karaoke singing. Scotty was singing karaoke with Brandon. Looked like a really fun event. Rap City Social. Good event to raise money for MLSC Foundation. So yeah, that was going on last night. We'll probably talk about. Let's talk about it. We'll go look at it, the Instagram stories real quick right now. Yeah, Jamal McGlure was getting down. Yeah, he was there with all the people at Rap City Social, taking all kinds of pictures of the Raptor in a purple suit. They had it at the ROM, guys, which is pretty cool, man. They had it in the museum because you know why it's so cool is because they could incorporate the actual like dinosaur bones in the museum with the Raptors like thing. It just totally makes sense. You put dinosaur motif. Well, let's have actual dinosaur bones in the setting because we're at the Royal Ontario Museum. And RJ had his hair out all poofy. There he is. I think he's shaking hands with Jeff Landicho right there in that picture right there. Pretty cool stuff, man. Yeah, this event's always fun. I don't think it's as swanky and big as it was last year, but it looks like it was a really good time at Royal Ontario Museum last night with the Rap City Social. Really, really cool. I'm sure they raised a ton of money. There's Keith Pelly, gross. Yeah. Four Corners was spinning and they had everybody there. Lots of fans paid some good money to good cause to hang out and hobnob and rub elbows with the Toronto Raptors team and all the other people like that. Yes. Kelly Olynyk had quite the sushi spread last night. Wow. That's a lot of sashimi. Wow, Kelly. You gonna eat all that? Holy crap, man! That's a lot of food. And let's see, Sandro Mamu has got a picture of him with Scotty and RJ on the court. Pretty cool. And he also has a picture of him at the event last night with Bobby Webster and Jacoby Walter. Very, very cool. Was a movie. Rap City Social was a movie, is what they're saying. There's Matt Devlin on stage at Rap City Social with Jamal Shed, Colin Murray-Boyles, and Jacoby. Jacoby going with the no jacket, just a white shirt look last night. Yeah, it's kind of cool to see how all the Raptors wear their style coming in. Grady with his little beanie and his white sweater. And then you got Brandon looking a little bit more casual. Trace just came to the team. He didn't really bring his formal wear attire. So he kind of showed up just wearing regular clothes. It's just how it is, man. It's just how it is. But yeah, good times last night. Grady's look was funny with his white turtleneck and his white suit and his little hat. Good times. There's a picture of him with IQ. Okay, stop the rumors. Grady Dick has posted a picture of him with Emmanuel Quickly at the Rap City Social on his Instagram. Okay, Raptors fans. Okay, is everything's all right with Quickly and Dick? Because well, why is Grady posting a picture of him with Emmanuel if he has such a big problem with him, guys? Come on now. Colin Murray-Boyles with a picture of him with Matt Devlin. Matt Devlin's so funny. He wears sneakers all the time. I don't think he wears dress shoes ever. Like he probably goes to games and he just wears sneakers. He's like, well, I'm a basketball announcer, Raptors freak. I don't have to wear regular dress shoes because I'm in the basketball business. So I can wear basketball shoes with my suit. You go. That's how I do it too, Matt Devlin. I'm not going to hate on that. I do it the same way. Looks like Lindsey Dunn is in Montreal and it's minus 50,000 degrees apparently to her. It was pretty cold. Then she got back in time for the Rap City Social. And she's in the red carpet. They gave the Raptors these little Raptor dolls and they signed them and they could give them to somebody on the way in. And guess what? Darko comes in and he gives his dinosaur doll to Lindsay. And Lindsay's just like, oh my gosh, did Darko just give me his dinosaur doll? Wow. She's so happy. She got the Rajakovic Raptor doll. That's amazing, Lindsay Dunn. It's your birthday. And yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah. All right. Let's see. What else we got? There's Pascal with an action shot of him against RJ. Very, very cool. 48 hours in Toronto is what that post says. And that's it. I think that's about it. Oh, they announced that, of course, the All-Star game coaching staff for the world team is the Raptors staff. So all 11 members are getting shine and recognition for the achievement of going to the All-Star game, all the coaches. And yeah, so proud of Darko and his coaching staff going to the game. And they were all celebrating online on Instagram by reposting it that they are the world coaching staff with Darko and Jama and Pat and Coco and everybody. Yeah, Scotty reposted him looking at the camera like he's on a TV show on his Instagram stories yesterday. That whole part where he is crying for a foul. It's like, you see this shit? It's like, yeah, it's pretty funny this guy posted that. That's pretty cool. I like that. Let's see. Yeah, Coco Wade celebrating that he's an all-star coach this year. It's pretty cool. Let's see. Andrew Jones showing the kids on the court playing. Is I think Ava and Heidi are out there, his daughters, hooping on the 905 court from the other day. Very, very cool stuff. Very, very cool. Andrew Jones, man, what a dream year, man. Keep going. Keep winning. W's all around, my guy. All around. There's an RJ Barrett action photo on his Instagram stories. Very, very cool. Very, very, very cool. Let's see what else we got. Game day. There's Juju Reese on the game day for tonight's game against Cleveland Charge. So let's go, Raptor Freaks. Let's watch the Cleveland Charge game for 9:05, 7 p.m. on YouTube. On YouTube, I'll see you in the chat if you can be there. There's your Instagram stories for today. Rap City Social, good event for charity, raising lots of money last night. That's right, raising lots of money. That is right. Fiercely saying beef stew is a non-factor, no huge impact if he plays or not. I have Duncan Robinson and Duran on my fantasy lineup. They put up great numbers. We also need the game plan against Cade. Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, we'll save this for tomorrow. But yeah, Cade Cunningham's their number one for sure. And he starts the whole defensive scheme for what we're going to do tomorrow. For sure. Beef stew. Yeah, I think this is a good scouting report by Fiercey. Beef stew is basically an enforcer, kind of big and physical presence and more rebounding. And yeah, Duran is very much more important and dangerous. And Duncan Robinson's hitting threes. Okay. Seymour saying Diabate pushed his face up against Duran's face as a man, and that's a no-no. Yeah, but did you see the plays before that and why he did it? He was actually pissed off at him already. It was building, and he was really mad. Like he was already mad. Duran pushed off on him at the very beginning of the clip I saw, and that was that play was dirty right there. And that was when Diabate got mad. And then he put a move on him and he kind of hit him with his body. And Diabate did not like that. And that's when he got in his face like that. So there's really kind of two moves that Jalen did to him that led up to him losing his temper and going off. And if the refs aren't calling anything to kind of stop Duran from doing stuff, I seriously, I look at it this way. Diabate is not the type that gets into these kind of things. He just isn't. His personality is not like that, I don't think. So I'm just saying, he just lost his cool. The referees were not probably giving any respect. The Hornets were down, and he just lost his cool and he lost his temper, man. Yeah, big violation. Listen, if you're mad at somebody, you're gonna come at their face, right? And he may have headbutted him a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, and I know that you don't do that, but what did Jalen do that afterwards? He pushed him in the face. He put his hand on his face and pushed him back like that. And then Musa went crazy. Then he went crazy, man, right there. Yeah. Trevor's saying Atlanta and Minnesota had that fight last night. Yeah. Yeah. Not as crazy as the Charlotte one, but still 2 fights in the same night. That's not good. That is not good for the league in some ways, man. Yeah. Seymour saying I got to peep that one too. That one's not as interesting. It's kind of more straight up kind of stuff. And it didn't go anywhere. Thank God. These don't need to go into real like connecting and fighting. It did look like Miles Bridges and Isaiah Stewart were connecting when they got in the center of the court when they ran over like that. And that could actually lead to more of the suspensions also for both of them. If they actually have footage where they can see where they're actually nailing them with the actual connection, they will get suspended more for that. Not just for leaving the bench, but if you actually hit somebody and you connect with it, they will add more to the penalty just for that, man, right there. Yeah, Seymour saying Bridges definitely had Hennessy in his water bottle. Oh man, I hope that guy's not Keon Clarkin, man. I hope not, man. These guys are just real ones like this, I guess. Fiercely saying the Atlanta Minnesota fight was light work compared to the Detroit Charlotte brawl. No popcorn needed. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I would say that. I would say that's true. Seymour, this is very interesting news. Seymour Pape is putting in front of us right here. I saw this yesterday. I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. Dame Lillard is going to shoot in the 3-point shootout, even though he's out for the season with his injury. He's going to show up to the All Star and he's going to shoot in the 3-point competition. So that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool that he's going to do that, because in some ways he wants to be a part of the NBA season. And well, didn't he win last year or something? I don't know. I don't care. I don't pay attention to this crap. But he's won like a few times, I know, in the past. So maybe he's coming back to defend his title, even though he's been on the injured list all year. He's going to show up at All Star and do the 3-point shootout, which is cool. Yeah, yeah. Okay, thanks, Eye Candy. Seymour saying, Lex, have you heard of growing concerns in Memphis and players' safety due to violence in the city? Thoughts on moving the team to Nashville? That's crazy. I didn't know that. I didn't know that's something that's going on. I mean, Tennessee's a shit show in some ways. Their politicians are really bad and not making good decisions. And there's also a lot of problems in Memphis specifically with these AI centers popping up. There's one already built there that's absolutely poisoning the water and is bad for the environment. And it's right in the middle of a poor neighborhood, like the classic shit. Is they're gonna put this kind of industrial stuff that's bad for the community in the communities that are hurting the most. So I don't know, man. I don't know anything about this. I haven't heard anything about this as far as maybe there have been rumblings that they wanted to move the team from Memphis for a while. And I didn't know that this was the actual reason. I thought it was just that the owners were like, we want to move the team because of this. I think the biggest problem with Memphis right now is that they found out recently that the Memphis owner has been enriching himself by providing arms to Russia to bomb Ukraine. Yeah, another really shitty owner in the NBA that has really bad linkages. That apparently the guy who owns the Grizzlies is helping Putin with his war on Ukraine, which is reprehensible and fucked up, man, right there. So I don't know, man. I did like hearing the rumor yesterday that Mark Cuban is getting an investor group in Dallas together, and they're going to try and buy back the Dallas Mavericks from Dumont and the Adelsons. So that would be great if that happens. I don't know if that'll happen though, because it's like they have to want to sell it, right? For that to happen. But I like the idea that Mark Cuban's trying to get his team back. He should have never sold his team in the first place, Mark. You should have never done that. You were one of the best owners in the league. And boy, did your team go from one of the best owners to the worst owner in the league with you selling it to the Adelsons. Really, really bad choice. I'll bet you he wouldn't have done that if he had a do-over. I bet you he would never sold his team if he had a do-over because he can see the direct result. Luka's in a Laker jersey. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Memphis. In some ways, the states are crazy right now. Trevor's saying this: James Harden and Donovan Mitchell, they both look dangerous together late in games. Yeah, well, we'll just see how long the honeymoon lasts. Let's just see how long the newness, the freshness of it lasts. Let's see how long until James wears out his welcome with his personality and his way he is. Let's just see. We'll see that. Maybe it's just gonna be he disappears in the playoffs like he normally does, right? That's it right there. Fiercely, you're welcome for explaining the relocation of conferences. Yeah, it's very much makes sense. They're gonna do it by geography. Geography. They'll put the if we have 32 teams in the league, they're going to put 16 teams, the furthest west, 16 teams in the west, and the furthest east in the teams in the east. That's how they'll do it right there. That's right. Fiercely saying, I hit Randolph by accident. How do I undo it? Oh, you did? Why did you do that? Man, maybe I should take y'all off moderating because I feel like some of y'all are misclicking too much. And if we have too many moderators, it's more likely for this to happen. I know Fiercey is a member of the channel, so in some ways she can get in here and do stuff, but I do like her being a mod just in case. I don't know. Lex can fix it. It's fine. I'm sure our Randolph knows it was a mistake. Yeah, I don't know. I'll see where he is. Like, I don't see his. We'll see. I'll try and fix it. Okay, let me keep going. Yeah, y'all be careful with your misclicks. I might have to, look. This is what I'm going to do. Fiercey, no, I'm not going to. I'm not going to do it right now. I'll figure this out later. In some ways, y'all just be careful because, like, yes, last week Trevor actually banned Smooth Brown Man from the channel, and he didn't even know it. When he did that thing he did to Reggie last week, and then Reggie couldn't be on the channel for like 3 days because I hadn't realized that what happened. It was like when Trevor hit that button, he actually kicked him off our channel. So I hope you didn't do that to Randolph just now. Seriously, man. Reggie's here saying this. I don't respect guys that play to injure purposely. Stewart is one of them. They need to throw the book at him. Yeah, I bet you they will. I'm sure they will for sure. Because he had nothing to do with that fracas until he got involved in it and ran over to it. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you on this, Reggie. I do. Infamous is saying, salute freaks. Beef Stew is a fake one. He backed down from Jaylen Brown, who is a real fighter off the court. Really? I didn't know that. Jaylen Brown's a real fighter off the court? Interesting. Interesting. I know he was a tough kid growing up in Georgia. Yeah, I know that. Denali's here. Good to see Denali back in the chat. Not gonna lie, I'm jealous that Matt Devlin isn't a Laker announcer. He is the best of the best, in my honest opinion. Eric Collins of the Hornets is a gem too. Okay, so we got a Laker Nations in here right now. Good morning, Laker Nation. Good to see you, Denali. Welcome back to the chat once again. Yeah, we love Matt Devlin. He's got a real excitement to him. I'm worried about him though. He's losing a little bit, right? There's sometimes he says something, and I can tell, like, whoa, Matt's getting older. We can tell. But man, he's awesome. I love Matt Devlin so much. In some ways, I like him being goofy and a little aloof, and sometimes kind of psychedelic. Like seriously, he's a weird one, man. He could be psychedelic as a play-by-play announcer, which is crazy. You're like, what? He can be psychedelic? No, listen. If he gets in his giggling fit, like he had one the other day in the game where he just started laughing, he couldn't stop laughing. It sounds like he's been eating brownies, like marijuana brownies. Seriously, because he gets in these like little girl giggles. This all happened when the Ron Jeremy incident happened. You know, Jack Armstrong's trying to remember Ron Burgundy, the Will Ferrell movie, and he's saying, "Wasn't that like that movie, Stay Classy, San Diego?" Ron Jeremy, and then he said Ron Jeremy, and Matt Devlin broke out. Oh my gosh, he laughs for like 10 minutes straight because of the miscue. And of course, this was during the speaker fire, the game against Indiana, where the speaker caught on fire in Scotiabank Arena, and they had to bullshit for like a long period of time because the teams weren't on the court because of a delay. And man, that is so fun to hear Matt Devlin just lose his shit laughing. he's like, he's like laughing like that on our broadcast. It's crazy. No, they're crazy, Denali. These motherfuckers on Caribbean night last year were eating roti on the air, like and drinking like spiced rum because it was Caribbean night. Like they're off the chain, bro. They're crazy. Yeah, we're very lucky and fortunate to have Matt Devlin. And I appreciate him for his like, I mean, it's been like 10, 20 years now. He's been our voice, which has been fantastic. The early years was tough because we were used to Chuck Swirsky and we really love Chuck Swirsky, and we didn't take the Matt Devlin right away. But man, over the years, has he really come through? And of course, he's been the voice of most of our great playoffs, all of our great playoffs throughout the 2010s when we were doing so well with Kyle and DeMar. And then the championship, of course. Yeah, yeah. The Raptors announcers, especially Jack Armstrong on NBA TV, are so biased. They have convinced me before that the refs are against the Raptors, even when they had the right calls. We laugh so hard at how passionate and biased they can be. That move from Memphis to Nashville is political push by the Make America Hateful Again crowd. Shaking my head. Yeah, that sucks, man. There's a lot in what you just said. I think that most fan bases were being real, Lakers Nation. Feel like the refs are against us in every nation, right? Now, we could give a little bit more evidence as Raptors Nation for why the NBA is against us because, and I hate to say it, and I know it sounds like a tired record, the Canadian team. In some ways, they don't market us in the United States. They don't really want us to be a top team. They don't really want us to be involved in the NBA in any substantial matter. We're supposed to be a bad team at the bottom that just loses everybody. So you got to understand, I don't think that it's the refs that's biased against us necessarily. It's the office, the whole NBA office, Adam Silver and the schedule makers. And also, sometimes the ref crews that they put on us. And, there's a lot of fishy shit. And I pay really close attention to this. You may think that they're biased for us, but I think that almost every home team announce crew is biased for their team at this point. It's just how it is. In some ways, the fans demand it. They don't want their announcers to be kind of like glazing the other team, right? So I get it. I would say this, man. You think we're bad? Go listen to Boston. Go listen to Philadelphia. Those two teams, holy crap, the announcers, Ala Abdel Nabi and Brian Scalabrine, and the people that the color guy, the play-by-play guys, they are crazy bad. Now, I haven't listened to the Lakers broadcast in a long, long time. I used to love Chick Hearn. He was awesome, man. Like he's a real true NBA broadcasting legend. But yeah, I don't know. I have no idea who's calling your games now. I won't say anything about them being homers. But yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm proud of my announcers holding up for my team. And in some ways, we don't have a lot of political power in the league as the Raptors, and our announcers have a voice. So in some ways, if they're talking about getting excitement for Scotty Barnes and getting more attention for him stateside, that's fantastic. If they're talking about how the refs aren't exactly fair to us, well, maybe people over in the States will be a little bit more aware of it because it's true. There is a lot of shady shit that happens. And Mark Davis actually stole a game from us in Charlotte this season already this year. And he has a tradition of doing this. He stole a game from us against the Sacramento Kings like 10 years ago. So I pay really close attention to the refs. And yeah, I can tell you exactly who the good refs and the bad refs are. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, you guys laugh at how passionate we can be. Well, it's just the love of the game. And in some ways, I'm sure there's an equivalent in Lakers Nation too. Yeah, UC's here. Good to see UC. UC's got some games coming up after the All-Star break. I'm so happy for UC. He's going to be coming to Toronto and seeing his first regular season games of the Raptors, and he's going to see Wemby and SGA. Wow, he gets to see San Antonio and Oklahoma City when they come to make their visit in Toronto in a back-to-back after the All-Star break. Man, what a fantastic 2 games to go to, man. Seriously, man, I'm so happy for you, my guy. And I know you're going to bring that RFF energy to the arena when you get there. Yeah, I know we're past the trade deadline, but I'm so glad Bobby did not trade for Sabonis. Yeah, I am too. It was not a move that made any sense whatsoever in any kind of way, for sure. I'm very happy with the trade deadline. I think that Trace is going to be fantastic. And, Raptors fans, let's enjoy our new player. Now, a lot of fans are wondering about the buyout market, all this kind of stuff. Don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. I think that what we got right now is really good. And let's get Yaka back healthy. And let's make the stretch run of this a season after the All-Star break kick a lot of ass. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah, Wayne's here. Good morning to Wayne. Morning, Raptor Freaks. With the outlandish behavior of Detroit last night, I'm hoping members of the Goon Squad get suspended. just a mature preparation for Wednesday. It's going to be a rough game. Well, we'll just have to see. I'm not putting any describers on this game at all. I'm like Darko. I'm like, well, we'll just have to see. We'll play who we are because we don't care in some ways what the other team is. Sure, we scheme for them, we figure out their tendencies, the matchup, and all that kind of stuff. But in some ways, the philosophy of the Raptors is we care about what we're doing. And when we go to the court tomorrow against the Pistons, we're going to try and execute what we do and what we want to do because that's the mindset of the Toronto Raptors. So it's like we're not worried. We're not going to get all scared. Oh, it's the Pistons. They got the best record in the East. No, we're not like that. We just beat the Thunder in their home arena. So it's like I'm not scared of them. I just want to see how we match up against them, especially because we are so talented right now. The Raptors are one of the most talented teams in the NBA right now on the down low, and nobody gives them any credit for that. They should, though. Scotty Barnes is emerging. He's going to be a top 5 player in this league soon. And Brandon Ingram is recaptured the player who he used to be on our team. And then you add in a guy like RJ and Emmanuel, and you got Yaka back. And then you have a skilled, talented rookie in Colin. Yeah, Sandro's having his best year. This team is extremely talented, our team. And I believe in them going against anybody. I don't care. In some ways, we've run a brick wall into the Celtics and the Knicks, but we will pass that test at some point, and we will get that ability to show this is how far we came when we do that. So, the league's going to try and force us to lose to the Lakers, the Celtics, and the Knicks every single time we play them. They're going to try and guide water towards the victory for those marquee teams. And, well, our record against those teams is no wins against those teams this year. The Lakers beat us both times this year. In some ways, yeah, the first game in Toronto, that was a fucked up game. The second one in LA was a little bit different, though. Yeah. Yeah, but the Knicks games and the Celtics games, we got to take the test, the last games that we play against those teams this year and try and get W's against them. We really, really do. Yeah. Let's keep going. Info is saying refs are not fair. Phil Handy, a former coach, spoke about this on his podcast. Scotty is 44 in free throw attempts per game in the league. Shaking my head. Yeah, Phil Handy, championship coach with the Raptors, championship coach with the Lakers. And I believe he's currently on the Lakers staff right now. I tried to find this podcast, Infamous. She told me about this. I couldn't find the link and watch it because I do want to hear what they have to say, what he has to say, Phil Handy. I could not find this interview. I want you to find it and put the link in the Discord if you can. Seriously, because I want to see this interview with Phil Handy. Last time you brought it up, I went searching for it. I could not find it because I want to hear exactly what he said about the refs and, and specifically what he said about the refs with the Raptors. For sure. Yeah. Denali's saying the refs were so bad against the Lakers last night. Did y'all win? I don't even know. I don't pay attention to the NBA in general overall. Who did you play? You played Oklahoma City and you lost by 9. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch the game. I couldn't say. KT saying the movie Warriors is what comes to my mind about tomorrow's game. I don't know about that. It's not set it up like that. To me, I look at it as like friends are playing each other. Cunningham versus Barnes. Those are the leaders. They're best friends. Maybe they could set a tone of friendly competition with no extra bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because Cade and Scotty are tight, and they're all-star teammates too next week. So it'll be fun. I think that's going to be a lot of fun because once again, Scotty's more at ease playing against guys that he's comfortable and knows really well, like Pascal and Cade. So the energy that Scotty had for the Pacers, he may very well have for the Pistons too, because there's a lot, the number one guy on the other side is a friend of his. And there's a lot more kind of like, it's different when you're playing a team and there's an older vet as the franchise player and you got to kind of respect them because you look up to them like Steph Curry. But if it's an equal, a guy that you came into the league together with, Cade Cunningham, well, in some ways, you can really try and take that battle of the marquee franchise players from that draft. And, that's what I'm saying, Scott. Once again, you have to beat Cade. That's what you have to do tomorrow night. You have to look at Cade and see what he scored and what he's doing to help the team, and you have to do better than him. And that's how you get the Raptors to win over the Pistons. You outperform Cade Cunningham, your friend. That's right. That's what you do right there. That's what you do. Denali's saying they wanted OKC to beat the Lakers so badly. The refs are so biased against the Lakers this year. See? Everybody thinks that with the teams. Everybody thinks that. I think the LeBron saying he said there's an article on the front page of ESPN this morning saying LeBron says we're not a good enough team to win or something like that. That's what he said. Like on the ESPN front page, there's a quote. LeBron's calling out the Lakers. We're not a title team, is what he's saying. And he's right. And I'll tell you why. And once again, it's because you guys are not going to be able to play defense to the level that the playoffs need you to. That's the problem. And you guys got Ayton, man. Ayton's not a playoff player. In some ways, he's a disappear in the night, like James Harden kind of player. And that's why Monty Williams was so mad at him in Phoenix that one year, is because you can't rely on DeAndre Ayton, man. You cannot rely on him, man. I'm telling you right now. Infamous saying the Lakers rank first in free throw attempts and the Raptors rank 20th. So get out of here with that bias BS. Yeah, Austin Reeves himself in the first game we played against y'all this year, I think he got more free throws than the Raptors' whole entire team in the game that we played in Toronto. Yeah, don't get out his garbage out here. Austin Reeves gets such glazing from the refs, and it's like Luka and LeBron, if they don't get the calls, they're whining and complaining like little girls too. Man, I feel bad about Luka falling off the side of the Cleveland court. That's so stupid. That court shouldn't be like that. It's stupid, man. It shouldn't be that way, man. Shouldn't be that way. It's dangerous, man. Let's see. Randolph's here. Beloved Raptor Freaks family, illiteracy makes you fit for slavery, oppression, and the abuse of others. Free your mind and your body will follow. Okay. Isn't that in vogue or something? Free your mind and your rest will follow. Man, this is heavy, dark shit, man. This is part of the plan for cuts in funding for education. This is why Linda McMahon is the head of education under Trump, is because they're trying to destroy the education so that people are stupider so that they can control them better. Man, it's so important. Read a book. You don't even need school anymore to learn. If you can have the dedication and on your own and on the internet, you can learn whatever you want and become knowledgeable on whatever you want. Go and just do it. You don't even need to pay a university to go do this shit. So just do it. Seriously, keep yourself educated and smart and learn critical thinking, because honestly, we're going to a dangerous age of AI and manufactured reality. And we all need to be vigilant and keep a hold on what is real and what is real reality, because they're going to try and shape reality very soon. And they're going to try and tell us to believe what they are showing us is real. And if we don't believe it and we don't take it, that's going to be a bad thing. Or we just got to resist. We got to fight the whole thing, man. We got to fight the whole thing that's coming, man, because these assholes have some crazy ass plans for what they want to do in the near future. Trust me. And we got to be ready and vigilant to fight. And I love that the elections are going well. They have special elections in the United States. And even in places where it very much has been Republican strongholds, they're losing, because people have come to realize exactly what the fuck is happening with fascism trying to take over the United States right now. And they're going to fight the power. And, more power to the real patriots, the real Americans in the United States that are against the Make America Hate Again group that Denali has brought up, man. I'm with you guys in solidarity. The world is with you guys, and we're rooting for you, and we will help you as we can, all right? We're all in this together. It's not a versus thing. Europe and Canada don't want to be versus the United States people, but we will be against your leaders right now, because they're not healthy, they're toxic, and they're bad for the world. And we want to help everybody who's being held hostage in the United States right now by a fucked up administration. That's honestly a criminal administration, a rapist, pedophile administration, and an administration that actually never won elections. They stole these elections, y'all. I'm telling you right now. Elon stole the last one, and they didn't even win the first one against Hillary either. That's the crazy travesty of this whole thing, man. That's the crazy travesty of this whole thing. All right, let me keep going, man. Randolph saying, Lex, if an all-star player is suspended for multiple games days before the all-star weekend, should they be allowed to play in the all-star? See, I didn't think that Jalen Duren should have been an all-star in the first place. It's just he's not an all-star. I'm sorry, he's not a star. He's not somebody that the league's going to market around. That's what an all-star is. Scotty Barnes is an all-star. Brandon Ingram's somebody you can market around. Jalen Duren is not somebody you can market around. He's just a big power forward, tough guy that rebounds. That's never really been a model for marketing in the NBA. You have to have the scoring aspect with it. So, yeah, I didn't think he should be on the team in the first place. They're not going to suspend him from the All-Star, though. They won't do that, though. They won't. The suspension will be for regular season. Denali's saying I'm a Lakers homer, but I think the Lakers are the team to beat in the West. Yeah, yeah. Your perception is tainted, and I would not say this is true. Obviously, Oklahoma City, the defending champions, the team that beat your team last night, is the team to beat. That is the team to beat in the West. You guys are not going to get far in the playoffs. You guys will probably go out in the first round, honestly. It depends on the matchup, who you get. You're probably going out in the first round because I'll tell you right now, you play Dallas. I mean, you play Denver, you play San Antonio, you play you play the Nuggets, you play San Antonio, the Nuggets, Oklahoma City, and Houston. Those 4 teams will mess you up and put you out right there. All 4 of those teams will beat you guys in the first round if you play any of them. I'm telling you right now, you guys don't have a playoff team. Let's just put it that way. You guys have a trick shot team. You guys have a glorified Hall of Famer team. You guys have guys that are legends that are absolutely amazing players, but they do not have the chops to win the playoffs at this point. LeBron James is great, but he's not the same LeBron James that he was 6 years ago. And Luka Doncic is not a winning player in the NBA. He does not play defense. He's a trick shot artist. He's part of the reason why it made sense that Dallas traded him was that part is that he's not a winning player. And his series against Boston proves it. You know, in some ways, you guys have tried to make shortcuts to fix your roster, and DeAndre Ayton ain't it. Let's just put it that way. He ain't it. Trust you. Trust on this, man. Trust in this. I know you're not trolling. Just really believe we will step it up when come playoff time. Well, that's the way you got to do it, man. That's a real fan, and I respect that. I respect that. You know, on my side of things, I don't think we're the team to beat in the East. We've been in the top 4 most of the season, but I was realistic. I mean, New York and Boston have more experience, and they're more likely to win a championship than the Raptors this year because we have a young core that has to learn the playoffs and what it's like, and they're going to have to fail in the playoffs before they get their first championship. Them going right through and getting a championship this year, that's unrealistic for me to think that way. And I would say, you know what? It's pretty unrealistic for you to think this way too. I mean, I shouldn't rain on your parade, but I mean, I appreciate you being such a good fan for your team, man. KT saying refs bias against the Lakers. Laugh out loud. What the fuck? UC saying wasn't a Cade fan at first since he was being compared to Scotty a lot early in their careers, but considering the Pistons have done a 180 in terms of winning games, large part cause of Cade. Yeah. Oh, for sure. And he paid his dues. The Pistons were really bad in some of his early years, and he was really languishing. But he stayed true to the team and building it right. And he has been that leader that has been at the forefront of all that. Yeah, he has been fantastic for that. All right, let's see who we got here. It looks like I might have another call from the bank. Good morning. You're on the Raptor Free Call-In Show. How are you today?
Good. How are you? Is this Alexiot?
Yes, it is. I'm on the radio once again. You keep calling me while I'm doing my radio show. I do a radio show for
What time's a good time to call you?
in the afternoon. Afternoon, yes, afternoon.
Afternoon?
Yeah.
Okay, we will call you in the afternoon.
Okay,
Sir, you have
this
a
is
nice Friday.
Scotiabank, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'll expect your call in the afternoon. Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. All right. Yeah, I don't know why they keep calling me at the same time right now. I'm like, I'm doing a radio show right now. I'm doing a podcast right now. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Yeah, Cade is deserving, man. I have a lot of respect for Cade. I have a lot of respect for him. Infamous saying Luka's number 1 in free throw attempts in the league. Yeah. Yeah, there's some evidence we're bringing to the case here. In some ways, it's not checking what your gripe is, Denali, totally. But respect, man, and respect for being here, Lakers fans. Seriously, respect for being here, man. Seymour saying ex-Raptor Danny Green is leading the charge of moving the team from Memphis to Nashville. There's a video on YouTube of Danny talking about impossible moves. Grizzlies should come back to Vancouver. Yeah, I'm totally with that. I like that, UC. I'll give you a dunk for that idea. That's fantastic. Nah, listen, whatever they do, I mean, is it that really different going Memphis to Nashville? It's the same state, but maybe it is. Like, it's just the kind of thing, like, it's kind of messed up because, like, Memphis is having a hard time. I don't know. How would Marc Gasol feel about all this? That's another question you got to ask. You got 6 on the dunk charts, UC. You got your second dunk of the year for saying that they should go back to Vancouver. I like that, man. I like that. Danny Green, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing, Danny Green? Seriously, what are you doing? Get into broadcasting and do your green room with Harrison Sanford and stop getting into politics and this kind of shit. Why are you involved, Danny Green? That's what I'm wondering there. Yeah, Seymour saying both top seeds deserve 2 All-Stars other than Cade. Who else would you pick for the All-Star game? Has to be Duran. There's no rule that says this. I hate this. Why do you guys think there's a rule? Both top teams need to get 2 All-Stars. I don't believe this. This needs to be true. I really don't. I don't think Chet should be on the All-Star team either. Seriously. There's better All-Star 2 pairs on a lot of other teams. The Lakers have obviously an All-Star pair and Luka and LeBron. They have to be in the All-Star game. It's just how it is. These guys are not all-stars. I don't think Chet's an all-star, honestly. I don't think he is. I think that he has the persona and he could be an all-star with his notoriety, but I don't like his stats and I don't like the way he plays. I think he's a loser. And I don't think he's at the all-star level as far as his play. He has the persona to be an all-star, but I don't think he has the right stats in the way he plays. I don't think he does. Too much of a inconsistent, weird guy. And Jalen Duren is just not a star. He could have good stats, but he just doesn't have the star power as far as who he is. There's no second All-Star on Detroit. There's no second All-Star on Oklahoma City. Even Jalen Williams, I didn't agree with last year. I didn't agree with that either. I think that you really want to get the prestige up there. You sully it with people like Jared Allen and Jalen Duren being all-stars. Seriously, I don't like that level of all-star. I think that these guys should actually be the all-stars, the dudes that are actually stars, because these guys aren't stars to me, man. They're not stars. They're not stars. All right, let's keep going. Randolph saying, Lex, I wish I would suspend him from the All Stars as well. Brandon Ingram is more deserving character and skills wise. Well, we did get word yesterday that Steph Curry is out for the All Star game. He will not be playing. So there will be an injury replacement for Steph Curry, and that will have to be an American. So there is a good chance that Brandon could get it, but some people are saying it's going to be Banchero, that Paulo will get this spot because Orlando doesn't have an all-star, and they may give this one to Paulo. So Paulo Banchero very likely is possibly the favorite to be the replacement for Steph Curry in the all-star break. We did find out that Sengun is the replacement for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the world team. So Alperen Sengun, he did a good job of making up for calling Jenna Renault the B word, which was absolutely stupid. In some ways, that's Udoka's fault because he called her the B word and he made it like, oh, this is okay. And first of all, MA, man, bro, your history and what you fucking did to get out of Boston, you're running around calling female refs bitches in NBA games. Bro, that's not a good look. You're an idiot, honestly. And you got that big turkey guy making stupid comments like that too. Jenna Renault is a nice, decent woman. She's a good woman. She's a good ref. She's a fantastic ref. And how dare y'all call that? And they're trying to say, oh, they would have called the ref a bitch, whether it was a male or a female. Fucking wrong. This degenerate world of grab them by the pussy from the White House and bullshit like that. We're not trying to go towards that kind of lecherous, criminal ass fucking world. And maybe it's okay to call female referees bitches in Trump world, but not in the good and kind, decent Christian world of the real Christian world. So yeah, this behavior should not be tolerated. And seriously, you don't call a woman a bitch in a public place where children are involved. And also, it's just your role model. And Sengun came back around and apologized for it in the correct way, in my opinion. And he's very humbled by it. In fact, I think he got an English lesson. I think that he may not have realized the weight of what he was saying in the way that he said it and realized, oh, this is something I shouldn't do. And I think he was humbled by it. Ime Udoka, fuck him. He's not humbled by this shit and his bullshit womanizing motherfucking ways. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's see. Dunk for RJ. Dunk for RJ. You want to dunk for Randolph? Okay, we can give a dunk for Randolph. And I'd like Brandon to get in there, man, but I don't know if it's likely, guys. In some ways, there's people ahead of him. Other teams don't have representatives. There's no representative for Chicago either. So, who knows? We'll see what happens. All right, this is the first dunk of the year for Randolph. He's got that BI3, which is very fitting. Very, very fitting. Let's see. Kareem saying Durham being an all-star just shows how weak the Eastern Conference is at the center position. It has nothing to do with positions. We're not doing the all-star by positions anymore. So this is not indicative of that at all. This is indicative of what Seymour's saying, that they think that the top team in the league gets 2 all-stars, and this is the most suitable guy afterwards. It has nothing to do with whether he's a center or not, because they're not picking any of the all-stars by position anymore. If they were doing that, They'd be substituting people for the same positions, but they're doing it all crazy all over the place. They just substituted SGA for a center. They're going to substitute Giannis for a guy in the East. That's Kawhi. No, a guy who's on the USA who's a guard. They substitute Giannis for Kawhi. So it's not about position anymore. The All-Stars are not, they didn't even care about whether you guys put positions or not. They did have backcourt and frontcourt delineation, but they don't care about center or forward or anything like that. That's not what this is. That's not what this is. Let's see. OKC literally just beat the Lakers last night. That's why he's talking about it. That's why he's saying the refs were bad, because he just lost. UC saying, if I was Beef Stew, I would have done the same thing, considering what Bridges has done off the court. See, there you go. There you go. I mean, it's a weird situation. It's a very crazy, amped up situation in Charlotte last night. Judge, jury, and executioner. Okay. Trevor's saying, people are saying Steve Kerr needs all-star replacement and it should go to Ingram. What? Steve Kerr needs all-star replacement? Who's Steve Kerr? Like, what the fuck is replacing Steve Kerr? Steve Kerr ain't got nothing to do with the All-Star weekend. He's not even coaching in it. He's not anything to do with All-Star weekend. Why you put Steve Kerr in here? He needs all-star replacement and it should be Ingram? How the fuck is Brandon Ingram going to replace Steve Kerr? He's going to be the coach of Golden State? I don't understand this, man. You must have meant somebody else, man. You must have meant somebody else. It was saying the team to beat in the East, in my opinion, unfortunately, is the Knicks in Detroit. I think it's the Knicks in Boston. I don't know if it's Detroit. We'll see them tomorrow, and then I'll get more respect for them possibly, or less respect. It just depends. We'll see how the game goes. No, right now I have to respect the Knicks and the Celtics. And the Celtics went and got Nikola Vucevic. They're more primed to try and get a championship now. They weren't before. And now I'm hearing that Jason Tatum is rehabbing with the main Celtics right now. So it sounds like Tatum's going to be back for the stretch run, and the Celtics are going for it. So don't count out Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum's nearing return, apparently. He was supposed to be out the whole season, but he's doing rehab with the main Celtics and practicing with them right now. So that's a big deal right there. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Fiercely saying Brichero does not deserve the spot before BI. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm with you on this. Of course we are. We're biased towards the Raptors, and we would love Brandon to be an all-star. But I'm just saying, realistically, it's very likely Paulo will be named. We know that. We know that, guys. It's realistically. Yeah, RJ saying, thank you guys for the dunk. There you go. Fiercely saying, I think Trevor spoke to the mic and it converted Steph Curry to Steve Kerr. That may be right. That may be right. But either way, he said Steve Kerr in his comment, and I'm autistic. I just read what's there. In some ways, maybe he said Steve Kerr by accident or Steph Curry. You might be right, because Trevor does read into his comments, and they're often the just slightly wrong words. Let's see. Seymour saying, any word on CP3 situation? No, he's still not waived. He's still on the Raptors, but he's not going to report. And we have not officially waived him. So I'm telling y'all, he may not get waived. I've heard through the grapevine that Chris Paul will not be waived by the Raptors until March 5th. March 5th. So expect him to be on our roster list for like a month. I don't know why that is the date. Blake Murphy's saying that he thinks that Bobby will waive Chris Paul on March the 5th. And we'll see if that is exactly right. Denali's saying, I think too many people are underestimating the Orlando Magic. I could easily see them winning the East. Nah, man, I've seen them. They have flaws. First of all, Banchero and Wagner are too similar. They don't diversify their skills in different ways enough. Like their weaknesses are the same weaknesses, and their strengths are their same strengths. So in some ways, they're too carbon copy. And the other thing is, there's issues in their locker room. There have been for a couple years now. Jamal Mosley has not totally got his team under his wraps. Let's just put it that way. There are dissension, and there is a little bit of underlying tension. And it's part of the reason why the Magic have not taken off, is because there are some people on that team that do not trust the coach. And they're having internal problems that are happening that most people don't know about, but I can see them from watching the games and the way they interact. And I've even heard some rumors and murmurs that Mosley's lost the locker room, half the locker room. So they don't have legs to do this. And plus, they've had different weird injuries. They're not built right. Their team is weird, man. They've got a lot of carbon copies. Let's just put it that way. You could make the argument that Jalen Suggs and Desmond Bain are extremely similar, also. And you got to have a diversity on your team. You got to have a lot of different players. I mean, you guys are getting the white boy crew out there in Lakers right now. But it's like that's not very diverse. But in Orlando, I don't see their team as being diverse enough with different weapons and different kind of looks. They have a lot of players that are similar. And in some ways, the Raptors are very different than that. We've got guys that are absolutely different in all kinds of different ways. People are wondering how Barrett, Barnes, and Brandon would fit. Well, they fit like a glove, and they're very different than each other, and they know each other's differences well, and they're playing off of them. With Banchero and Wagner, quite often it's like a dogfight. Who's going to get the ball? Who's going to be more important? And in some ways, what they offer and what they do is so similar. And in some ways, they don't have as many answers and adjustments in the game because of that. So yeah, that's why I say no, man. And you may not understand just how Mosley is kind of on the hot seat. Seriously, he's kind of on the hot seat on the down low, and people don't realize it. KT saying, cool thing about the East is that the Raptors, hang on, is that the Raptors. Oh wow, I jumped so far, but I'm not that far. Okay, here it is. Cool thing about the East is that as a Raptors fan, nobody scares me in 7-game series. But we just don't know. The whole thing is we're going to have to play in the playoffs and see if these guys sink or swim. Bobby said it in his press conference last week. He's like, we want to get them playoff experience this year so they can dip their toe in it and get the feeling of what it is. And it's likely they're going to fail because they're young and they have to understand the energy, the physicality, the change from the regular season to the postseason is dramatic. And very often, the first time any young players go to the postseason, it's a shock and it's not easy. And they're like, whoa, this is the level of how much we have to bring it up because they don't understand it. So that's going to be the issue with the Raptors in the playoffs is that the playoffs will be very new to a lot of them, and they're going to get shocked by it. And in some ways, they're going to fail because of it. That's just the normal pattern in a rebuild and building a team up to try and get a championship. You have to get your feet wet. You have to find failure first. And in some ways, Detroit got their feet wet last year getting the playoffs, but they're still kind of similar to us. That's why I don't put Detroit above New York and Boston because they don't have a run to the finals or the Eastern Conference Finals yet. They've gotten into the first round, got past the first round, but they haven't gotten past that. So they still have to do the stair steps like everybody else. And, the Knicks and the Celtics have gotten pretty far. The Knicks got the Eastern Conference Finals last year. The Celtics were in the finals a couple years ago and won. So they know more than treasure map to get to the highest levels of the playoffs than the Detroit Pistons, as much as it pains me to say that. As an Atlantic Division foe and a person that doesn't like either of those teams, I'll be real about it and be honest about it. I mean, I believe the Knicks and the Celtics have a better chance to win the championship than the Lakers for sure, just because they're built better and they have more playoff tested guys that makes sense, and they play a more playoff style play too is another part of it. Let's see. Denali's saying, but the East is wide open. There are a lot of teams that could win the East. Yeah, I mean, I say that's true. I say that's true to an extent, but it is very likely that it will be one of those two teams I just named. It is very likely it'll be one of those two. I think those guys are the favorite for sure, especially if Tatum comes back and Vucevic is on the Celtics. We have to put them at a whole other level than where they've been all year. This really was supposed to be a gap year for Boston, and it's not. And there was a Boston fan who came into my stream in the summer and said that to me. He said, this is not a gap year for us. We're going to be going for it. And I didn't believe him at that time, but now I do. Now I do. He was right. They are going for it. UC saying, I feel like Tatum should take a whole season off, like when KD ended up not going into the bubble back in 2020. Further risk of injury without proper timetable for healing might cause him his career. I don't know anything about where Jason is exactly. This is way ahead. It could very well be that he worked really hard and he did the really good work to get ahead to be at this point. I mean, him and Fred are kind of similar, although Fred had his injury in the offseason right before the season, and Jason had his injury during the playoffs. So I don't know. We'll just have to see. Boston knows best. And in some ways, I'm not wishing anything good for them.
I'm just trying to be honest and real about what's going on with them right now. I think he should play if he can. If he's ready to come out and play and try and help them in this run, why waste a season? Why waste a season? I bet you Celtics fans would say the same thing as me. Seymour saying, I got the Raptors taking it all against the Clippers in the finals, my prediction. Okay. Okay. A little Raptors versus Kawhi in the finals. Okay. Man, if that happened, I'll be so happy, Seymour. I would. In some ways, this is a little bit hard to believe, though, is what I'm saying. Raptors in 6 in the 6. I like that. I like that. That sounds so perfect. That sounds so perfect right there. Randolph saying, Lex, I think the 5th is when the players can be signed to 10 days in the lake. Yeah. But Blake had explained that there's some like thing that's a benefit if Bobby waits till the 5th of March. So I don't know exactly why. It may have to do with, just opening the spot up to be able to sign a 10-day, you know? That may be what it is. Seymour saying Tatum said if he played for Memphis, he would have a statue outside already. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that sounds goofy and weird. Like, would you have won a championship with them already? I doubt it. Seriously, it's taking you this long to win one championship with the prestige team of the Celtics, where they're trying to get them championships. They're not trying to get championships in Memphis. The NBA office is not trying to guide any championships to your team like they do the Lakers and the Celtics. No, they're not trying to help Memphis get a championship. So Jason Tatum's an idiot for saying this. That's not true. Smooth saying also March 1st is the deadline for buyout players to be signed to be eligible for playoff rosters. Okay. Hopefully Chris Boucher finds a home. Once again, I'm going to say this. These buyout guys, half of them are going off in the sunset. We did see Pat Connaughton circle back and go on a cheaper contract with the Charlotte Hornets because he was at the game last night during the fight. So he got waived and bought out, and then they signed him back in some sort of weird circle back move. I don't know. I don't get that totally. Yeah, the Jazz waived him. Yeah, they Jazz waived him and Lonzo. They did waive them both. Kareem saying at Seymour got the Clippers making the finals. I'm sure if I put $5 down on that, I'll be a billionaire if it came through. Well, that'd be interesting because the Clippers started at the bottom this season and were really bad at the very bottom of the Western Conference, and they've gotten better with Kawhi being healthy and kicking ass since December. They've climbed up to the play-in. They're not even in the playoffs. So I don't know, man. This is crazy. I think Seymour's just talking some highfalutin crazy talk right here. In some ways, if it happened, I wouldn't be upset though. I wouldn't be upset. Let's see. Denali's saying the NBA doesn't want the Lakers to win. Adam Silver was basically any other team than the Lakers to win. That's bullshit. It's his wet dream if LeBron wins, my guy. You're crazy. Do you understand the marketing and all the other things? The Lakers, he's wanted to win for so long, but y'all have been toxic in your front office. And it's been Jeannie Buss. It's been Rob Pelinka. It's been LeBron James. It's been all the underlying stuff that's fucked y'all up. That's the biggest thing in the NBA. Your organization has to be cool and like right and running things right. We know this in Toronto because this is the way we do things here. But in LA, you guys, man, since Dr. Jerry died, y'all have not been run right. Seriously, because you don't have the right people that care about it in the right way. If Magic could have been running y'all's team, y'all might have been okay. But he didn't have the power and the power structure to do this. So instead, he's going to go run the Dodgers a bit himself. But yeah, Jeannie Buss is a snake. And in some ways, if she stabbed the back her brothers, she'll stab the back of anybody. And she stabbed the back of LeBron recently. And you see this toxicness with this talk about how her and LeBron weren't seeing eye to eye, and they didn't want to have the GM anymore. So they stopped letting LeBron make a lot of the decisions because that was part of the toxicness of y'all's team too, is that LeBron James was running your team for a little while there around 2020, and it was not good for your team. So you guys have been mismanaged for at least 10 years. And even though you got that Mickey Mouse championship in Orlando, that was handed to you by Adam Silver. And that is evidence right there that what you're saying is absolutely wrong. They wanted you guys to win in the bubble. And in some ways, they helped y'all win because you guys went ahead and practiced when everybody else didn't. And y'all kept up with each other during the summer of the pandemic. And a lot of other teams weren't getting that advantage, and y'all did. And that is directly part of the reason why y'all won that championship in the bubble, because y'all continue to work out and stay together during the pandemic while all the other teams were in lockdown and staying away from each other. So, yeah, no, this is totally off base, man. Adam Silver wants the Celtics and the Lakers to win more than anybody because both of y'all have the most championships, and the drama between your two franchises about who's going to have more, that's what he wants. If he had the Celtics versus the Lakers in the finals every year, he would be so fucking happy. It's just the problem with the Lakers is y'all aren't holding your own end of the bargain. He would love to push y'all forward, but y'all have been a toxic mess, a dumpster fire of behind the scenes in your front office. And it bleeds through to the results on the court. And that's why you had these seasons where you miss the playoffs, you're in the play-in, you go right out. All the shit that's happened to y'all in the last 5 years is because you guys are dysfunctional behind the scenes, and it manifests in the results on the court. And part of it is you need LeBron to leave. You can't go to the next era with LeBron still here. And in some ways, he's gonna hold you back until he does leave, as sadly as that is. And like I said, until y'all clean up the ownership. Now, the thing is, you guys got new owners coming in. The owners of the Dodgers, Mark Walter, he's going to spend money to make y'all win, just like he did with the Dodgers. So you guys are going to get better, and you're going to do way better, partly just because this guy's going to open the pocketbooks. You can buy championships in the MLB because there's no salary cap. And that's what the Dodgers do. Trust me. They buy championships by paying for the most expensive players and having the most expensive, amazing, talented team from paying for it. That's been the case in the MLB with the Yankees in the past. Well, the Dodgers are the new era of doing this, buying World Series championships. And well, the Lakers are going to get that treatment soon, but they will have to work within the NBA salary cap rules, and they won't be able to do it so exactly like the Dodgers. But Mark Walter's going to do this. On the down low, the Lakers had problems too financially because the Buss family just didn't have that same resources. A lot of the owners in the league, like Steve Ballmer across the city, the Buss family is cheap. And in some ways, they weren't trying to invest in the team in certain ways. So Walter being y'all's owner now is going to open the pocketbooks, and it's going to be totally different for y'all in the next couple of years. It could be very similar to the Dodgers. So you should be happy, Laker fan. There's a lot of things looking up for your team right now. Let's just put it that way. And you're crazy. Adam Silver loves the Lakers. He wants y'all to win. Trust me. Trust me. Okay, UC saying, yeah, Zoe and Chris got waived. I kind of want Lonzo for the Raptors just in case quickly or Jamal gets hurt. I don't like Lonzo Ball at all. I've never been a fan of his. I think he's a fraud. I think the whole Ball family is a fraud. And the fact that he sat out and couldn't even walk for so many years, he ruined the Bulls with DeMar on it. He's just a loser, man. I have want nothing to do with Lonzo Ball. I have no respect for him at all. I don't even think he's a good player when he's healthy. So yeah, I'm a big no on this, you see. We don't need Lonzo Ball anywhere near the Raptors. The dude's washed in some ways. I would say he is washed because how many games has he played since he's come back from his injury? And who's held on to him? Chicago? Nope. Cleveland? Nope. That's a red flag right there. And Jazz don't want him either. They're gonna waive him. That's red flags right there. We don't need no Lonzo Ball, man. We don't need no Lonzo Ball. In some ways, damaged goods, right? Seymour saying Jazz organization should be fined for the late game janking. It's not good for the game. Yeah, it was interesting. Last night they won their game, even though they try not to. They won against the Heat, and they even had a deficit where they were behind, and then they came back and won somehow. I mean, Will Hardy, you got to show it like you are still trying to win. I mean, that says a lot about the Heat. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? How the fuck did you lose to a team that's trying to actively lose in the Jazz? That's crazy to me, man. That is crazy to me, man. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what they do with the Jazz and this new age of new way of tanking that they're trying to do now. Y'all, straight goods on Canadian goods, y'all. Y'all need to clean stuff at your house. Well, I have a great Canadian cleaning company called EcoMax. EcoMax is really awesome because they do cleaning stuff that's this is Canadian made in Canada, straight up Canadian company. You're not dealing with the States at all. Made in Canada right there. And this is an orange cleaner, disinfectant, all-purpose cleaner. And then this is the glass cleaner. And, you can buy cleaning supplies for your spring cleaning coming up from a Canadian company like EcoMax. And the thing about EcoMax is that they really care about the environment and having good hypoallergenic kind of products that are green products that are good for the environment and good for the consumer. So EcoMax for your cleaning product needs, like this glass cleaner and this all-purpose cleaner right there. Straight goods on Canadian goods, EcoMax. Get your cleaning goods from there. That's right. There you go. There you go. Boom goes the dynamite. Seymour saying, Kareem, I'm stealing your idea. I'm putting down 10. And Denali's saying he wants other teams to win the championship so he can grow different NBA fan bases. I mean, this is what he wants. He doesn't want dynasties. He doesn't want dynasties because dynasties are boring. We had the Cavs versus the Warriors for a lot of the 2010s. That was boring as fuck. And that almost destroyed the NBA. So he changed the cap and he made it more parity. More any team can try and win. And that's good for the league. It's fantastic. These are good things he did. He just doesn't want dynasties. And it's indicative of the fact that ever since the Raptors won the championship, there's been a different champion every year and no repeats. Different teams have won every single year since then. Nobody's repeated either. So that's what he wants. He just doesn't want dynasties. He doesn't want the same team to be in the finals every single year because it's boring. When that happened with Curry and LeBron, it was very boring. In fact, as a diehard NBA fan, there's a lot of finals that I didn't watch during Cavs and Warriors because I found it so fucking boring. And that was part of the reason why right there. Yeah, so in some ways what you're saying is true. He does want to have other teams win championships like the Nuggets, like the Thunder, because it does help make the health of the league better because they can feel like winners and the fan base stays behind them and they keep coming. Nobody's going to Wizards games. Why? That's the problem. You got some dead notes in the teams that are just nobody, they're not supported because they're going nowhere. So the more healthy teams in the league, the better for the league overall, for sure. Seymour's saying at Kareem, I'm stealing your idea. I'm putting down 10. Okay. Kareem's saying, I lost a lot of respect for Danny Ainge. He did the same bullshit with the Celtics before making the big three. He clearly has a blueprint on tanking. Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, I Danny Ainge has always been kind of a jerk. He was a jerk on the Celtics when he played. He's been a jerk as a GM in Utah also. Yeah, he's always been kind of a jerk. Yeah, he was a Blue Jay. Did you guys know that? He was a Blue Jay. Let's see. Stargate saying, stop the cap. The Raptors announce crew is the most objective and politically correct announce crew in the entire league. I listened to the Pacers announcers the other night, and I will tell you it was more than just bias. It really assholes toward our team, was downright disrespectful. Sometimes I wish ours would be more like the American team's crews. We're just too nice sometimes. Well, it wasn't that way when we infuriated Sixers Nation when Siakam busted the eye socket of Joel Embiid and Jack Armstrong said, you get what you get. That was awesome. That was awesome. Yeah, you're talking about Quinn Buckner. Quinn Buckner is the color commentator for the Pacers. He's a former player, a former coach, and he is absolutely biased for the Pacers and weird and crazy and off his rocker in certain ways. So you're talking about Quinn Buckner. That is who you're talking about right there. I wouldn't say that we're the most objective and politically correct announce crew. I wouldn't say that, but I would say that we're a good one. And I get entertained. There's no metrics to really gauge this unless somebody's crazy and they want to listen to all the announce crews and take the stats and try and figure it out. That'd be a lot of work. Maybe AI could do that work. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we don't need AI. Denali's saying it's hilarious that people actually think that the NBA wants the Lakers to win championships. This is the exact opposite of what most of our fans think. Well, y'all are toxic. And in some ways, that's, they're conditioning a lot of people in this world to feel like it's us against the world. And in some ways, it's absolutely true. This is a world full of like manufactured fear. This is a world full of I'm a victim. Oh, poor me, I'm a victim. That's half of what y'all are in Lakers Nation. Y'all are playing the victim card when y'all aren't victims. In some ways, it's entitlement. Honestly, it's entitlement. You guys may have a certain standard of what you think the calls should be for you, and it's not realistic. That may be part of it also. Also, I find that Lakers Nation sometimes is a wide, vast nation full of nephews and toxic people, and some of them do not know basketball, and they're just fans and they're crazy. This is indicative of a lot of nations, though. We have this in Toronto too, and I think that they do want you to win. I think Adam Silver would be very happy if you guys win, seriously, because it's good for history. It's good for pushing forward the narrative of the Lakers versus the Celtics in the history of the NBA, and that's the most important marquee matchup in the history of the NBA is the Lakers versus the Celtics. And I'm not going to disagree that that's not true because y'all have the most championships. And in some ways, that battle for who has more championships, now that the Celtics are ahead of y'all are on notice. Y'all need to go match them, right? You need to go match them. So yeah, no, you're crazy, man. Lakers Nation, you guys are so entitled and you think that you are getting shafted, but you guys are a team of privilege. And remember that. You're a team of privilege. You are absolutely a team of privilege. Yeah, Denali is in denial. I appreciate him being here. Respect, man. And thanks for the sub. And yeah, let's keep it all friendly and we're in good place here. That's right. Facts. Let's go. Let's see. Trevor's saying this. Sorry, I had to share this joke. People are saying that the White House have crackheads working. That's not a joke. That's actually reality. I mean, his son is on cocaine for sure. You can watch Donald Trump Jr. run around with the crazy coke eyes and the he looks like he's a crackhead. Oh, for sure. For sure. Dr. Oz, he's a crackhead. These motherfuckers are crackheads. Yeah, that's is a joke. It seems like that's news at 6 right there. Smith saying Lakers going to be deep in the luxury tax for sure. Ball been waived already. Yep. Yep. Seymour saying, where you get Ecomax? I bought this at the regular grocery store that I go to, which is Vince's, but you could probably find it at most stores. Just look for the label Ecomax. That's the right one, man. You get it for work too. Get it for the warehouse. Tell your boss at work, I want Ecomax. I hope they have it out in Calgary. They should have it out there. They should. Isaac's here. Good morning, the benevolent Isaac Campbell, holding it down in the nation's capital, Ottawa. Will the Lakers trade LeBron and picks for Giannis? LeBron was worse for the Lakers in getting involved and forcing bad trades, but Giannis's influence also hurt his team's direction. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't believe anything with Giannis anymore. I'm going to believe he's absolutely innocent in everything. That all the things about Giannis, his whole entire career, have been the press's fault, namely shams. You know, all the trade rumors, all this other stuff. I think that if you want to blame what's happened with the roster and the team, that's the front office's fault. Maybe Giannis was saying things like any team player would. Please make the team better around me. I would like this to happen. Can we do this? Ball boy, you have to be better. You have to be better, medical staff. Front office, you have to be better. That seems like normal demands from a franchise player that he wants his team to do better. You know, that's all he did. So I don't know. I don't blame Giannis like this. Is Giannis le GM? No, I don't think so. I think that he's not going to do GMing because we've seen how he picked all-star teams. He's bad at it. So it's not like the front office is going to bring in Giannis and say, "Hey, let's go over what we should do, and you can help us figure it out." No, they're not asking Giannis to do that. That's above his pay grade. It's below his pay grade, but it's also not in the job duties. So I don't see this, Isaac. I don't see how you correlate Giannis getting blamed for the messed up Milwaukee Bucks. No, it's symptoms like firing Adrian Griffin, and there's speculation whether Giannis had something to do with that. That's where everything unraveled. They were at the height of things. And I think it was even like Jay Crowder posted this on social media. This is where the catalyst that unraveled the Milwaukee Bucks was when they were having one of the best records in the East and they fired the coach, Adrian Griffin, just out of the blue. Everything's gone downhill since then. They brought in Doc Rivers. They've stripped their team of most of their champions that were on the championship Bucks team recently. And the front office has made mistake after mistake. And I would even say getting Cam Thomas off the buyout market is a mistake. Because he's just adding more of these kind of guys with Gary Trent and the other guys that are there already. So, yeah, Milwaukee's front office is to blame to me. And Giannis is just a franchise player. He's just there and showing up. And you know what? I commend his loyalty. That dude doesn't want to leave, man. He wants to retire a Buck. And even Isaac bringing up this whole thing about trading him for LeBron. Well, Adam Silver could force that trade like he did Luka, I guess. He could do that if he really wanted to, force a trade for shakeup. In some ways, I feel like he hates Milwaukee, and that's why they make all this noise to try and get Antetokounmpo to get out of there. But that man's been there for 13 years. That man loves being in Milwaukee. His father's buried there. His family is grown up there. And in some ways, he doesn't really want to leave. It's the NBA machine and the hype machine and the press that wants him to leave. In some ways, Giannis just wants to stay a Buck his whole career. And I have so much admiration for that. It's the front office's fault that team is not doing well. And firing Adrian Griffin was the start of it. Yeah. Kareem saying we can't have Ball and Dick on the same team. Nope, we can't. That's for FCC standards. That's for dirty things, man. Yeah. You also fuck with the fake show Lakers. Okay. Also fuck the fake show Lakers. Okay. Yeah, that's a bold statement. Smooth saying, I just think Giannis is trolling the NBA at this point. He's not trolling. They're trolling him. He's not trolling them. I mean, did he do some sort of announcement? And then it was like, oh, I'm doing an investment group or something like that. It was something like that. It's like LeBron making an announcement. Oh, buy Hennessy. It's like, what is this shit these guys are doing, man? Smooth saying, I read that SGA is part owner of Hamilton Hockey Arena, the old Cops Coliseum. Yes, they're going to renovate the Cops Coliseum. Is it the existing structure? I thought they were building a whole new building. It's going to be called the TD Coliseum. And Shea is one of the benefactors. He's one of the investors, and yeah, this is amazing. It's awesome because it shows his connection to Canada. It shows his connection to his hometown, and it shows that he wants to build infrastructure in his home city of Hamilton. Yeah, this is awesome news. I'm glad you brought it up. It was something that I meant to mention on the stream today. UC saying, what do you think of Giannis being a shareholder of gambling site? Laugh out loud. Yeah, that's messed up. That seems like a conflict of interest. I mean, that's just the way this world's going. Whether it's senators trading stocks with insider information, there's just so much bullshit. There's so much rigging the system. And that's why this system is going to get destroyed because people have abused it. And this is just like the fall of all great empires in the history of mankind and time. You know, people get too greedy, they get to a gilded age, and they just get out of touch with reality for the common man and the working man, and everything goes to shit, and it just destroys itself from the inside. People at the top have to realize for a healthy ecosystem, you have to take care of all parts of the ecosystem. And if you're only taking care of yourselves at the top and the rest of the world is dying off and going through hardships, you're going to get fucked up because that's how French Revolution happened. That's the fall of the Roman Empire. That's the fall of all this shit. You get too greedy. You don't keep any regulation. You go way too cheating and too much. Yeah, it all crumbles down. And this is where we're getting close to the late stage fail of capitalism and the whole system destroying itself because of greed. So, yeah, this is part of it. In some ways, yeah, that I think that's a symptom of this. A good guy like Giannis, yeah, see, there's such a blurring of criminality and what is real and what is just anymore. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Denali's saying, I like everything about Lex in this channel except his takes on the Lakers. Well, I hope you can overlook that, man. I will say, you want me to say some nice things about the Lakers? I love the Showtime Lakers, man. I've met Magic Johnson once in my life, and he's such a nice guy. When I met Magic, it was in like 1994. So he was out of the league because of the HIV, and he hadn't made his return yet. And he was doing like a distinguished lecture series. And he came to Florida State. I lived in Tallahassee, Florida at that time, and I got to meet him and shake his hand. And I always remember that Irvin's hand was so soft. It was like the softest human hand I'd ever touched. Like he had the best moisturizer or something like that. And he was just so kind to me, man. And I've got a autographed picture to me that says to Alexi, may all your dreams come true, Magic Johnson. And well, one of them did. The Raptors got a championship, but I want more championships. I mean, yeah, I always loved Magic. Irvin Johnson is one of the greatest human beings to ever live. And honestly, he's just an amazing person. I like a lot of those guys from your old team. Like James Worthy's awesome too, and Michael Cooper. He's another guy that I was a big fan of. Coop the Loop, man, all day long, man. Kurt Rambis gets after it, but Kurt Rambis is a front office guy is not good. He's been bad for y'all. But yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, but man, the Showtime Lakers are my guys, man. They were awesome. And I was rooting for you guys against the Celtics quite often. And Larry Bird back then, man. Yeah. Denali's saying, I really respect that he'll say the hard things about America. Yeah. I mean, listen, this is the thing. I'm not saying this out of my ass as just a Canadian guy. I'm dual citizen. I am an American citizen also. I am born in Toronto, but raised in Florida, in Tallahassee. And it's not that I come about my opinions on the United States without any, experience. I mean, being raised in Florida and going through the public school system in Tallahassee, I very much understand the United States and especially a red state like Florida and the mentality of Trump America because I was raised around it. And in some ways, having the duality of being Canadian and lived in here and the difference of living in Florida, it better informs my opinions on, American issues because I learned American history in grade school because I was in the States. And the America I was taught is not the America I see today, right now. This is not the patriotic, important in the world America that has been my whole life. It's really changed for the drastic downturn in the last year or so. It's been on that way since probably for a while, but it's really getting to the worst part at this point, man. And I appreciate that. And that's you couple that also with studies in sociology and in grad school, and that's part of how I can get to the point where I can speak on these issues on a high level because there is real experience. I've lived half my life in the United States and half my life in Canada. Yeah, so yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, that's such a great story with Magic Johnson. Yeah, he's just an awesome dude, man. Just a great human being. And there's a part of me that loves the Lakers, like loves the whole idea of the Lakers and who they are. In some ways, I like you guys more than Boston. I really do. And if you guys play Boston in the finals, I'm rooting for the Lakers, just so you know, because first of all, I mean, Boston is a division rival of ours, and Boston fans can be really annoying. And in some ways, the whole history of racism in Boston around that team with Bill Russell, and even when Magic and the Showtime Lakers would show up in the '80s with Larry Bird, the way that the fans were in Boston was absolutely reprehensible. And I would stand with the Lakers in that situation every single time. And I think Jerry Buss is an icon for the NBA. And he's absolutely one of the greatest owners that ever was involved in the NBA, also. So there's a lot of glowing things I can say about the team and the franchise for sure. There was a lot of racism and homophobia back in the '90s with Magic. Yes, there's a lot of misunderstanding. A lot of misunderstanding. He wasn't having gay sex. No, he was having sex with a lot of women, and they had AIDS, and he got it that way. And well, he didn't get AIDS; he got HIV. But because he's very rich, he has all the resources. He's able to get the medication and the right procedures to, be very healthy to this day. In fact, I think they've tested Irvin, and he doesn't have any traces of the HIV virus in his body at this point. They basically kind of killed it. So that's really awesome and really happy because you remember around that time, we all thought he was going to die in just a couple years. And well, this is like 30 years later and he's still going stronger than ever. And that's fantastic, man. I really do like that, man. Really do like that. Yeah. Wayne saying, as a Raptors fan, I understand sports is entertainment, not to be taken seriously. Just enjoy beating your competition or rival cities. That's right. That's right. Win or bust is in some ways, there's an honor in just having a good game. Like if you play a good game against a good team, like the Thunder last night, and it's toe to toe and it's back and forth and it's really close and the best team wins, even if your team loses, there's an honor in like a competitive, entertaining game. You'd like to be the team that wins, but in some ways that's lost in today's world. It's like win or nothing. And that's annoying to me because you can have a very successful NBA season, have a high win total, do okay in the playoffs, and that's a very successful year. But because you didn't win the championship, they'll look at you as a failure. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I think there's different levels of success in different places. Yeah, Karl Malone was totally an idiot with the whole Irvin Johnson HIV thing in that All-Star game. He said he wouldn't play in that All-Star game with Irvin because he was worried about the blood getting on him. We know Karl Malone's an idiot. We know more about what he did with that little girl, and he's a reprehensible person. In fact, when they honored him at the Utah All-Star game in the last couple years, it was just like cringe as fuck. Cringe as fuck, man. But yeah, Malone is not a role model. He's the exact opposite of Irvin Johnson and somebody that I detest. And in hindsight, I mean, he was such a great, prominent NBA player during his time. But in hindsight, in his post career, he's an absolute piece of shit. Absolute piece of shit. And that was indicative with his comments on HIV and Magic at that time. Yeah, Denali's saying that the Celtics are a good franchise, but has a long history of racism. Yeah, you know the story about how the Celtics fans broke into Bill Russell's house and destroyed it and painted like racial epithets all over his walls just because he was a black player on the Celtics in the '60s. That's crazy. And this man brought so many championships to their franchise. Meanwhile, the racist ass white people in Boston broke into his house while he was on the road and trashed his house and painted all this crazy shit all over his walls. His own fans. Isn't that crazy? This is crazy, man. W Stream, thank you, Fiercely. I'm at 2.5 hours. Let's get done, man. Yeah, nothing much has changed. The internet just amplifies the negatives. Man, it's just it goes underground for a bit, but this motherfucker in the White House is making it okay to be clearly out in the open as a fucked up racist piece of shit KKK motherfucker. And that's the problem right now. But at least you know what? The benefit of that is you know who they are. It's like the roaches, if they're hiding in the cracks, you don't know they're there. But if they come out and they screw around in your house, you can see them. And we can see the roaches right now of racism because they're feeling empowered because of this jabroni. All right, let me get through the rest of my tabs real quick. Raptors Reddit, I don't care, man. They're talking about TJD's height. They're trying to figure out how tall Trace actually is, because it's like there's a saying they got all these pictures of him next to other players like Scotty, RJ, Evan Mobley. They're saying this guy really looks like he's 6'11, not 6'9. You know, it's true. Often the heights in the NBA are not very good for telling you actually how tall they are. They're not listed correctly, if that makes any sense. Let's see. Is there any breaking news that we got to see real quick? No, it all looks like political stuff there. Get your fantasy lineups set up for the week. Andrew, I'm beating you so far this week. Get your Yahoo fantasy team set up. Let's go to the classic card and let's get the rundown. Get out of here right at 2.5 hours. All right, let me see who I get. Maybe we get a Laker today or a former Laker. No, I don't want this one. This one's too hard. I want an easier one today. We'll do this one, especially since we did the classic Jurassic Tuesday trivia today. All right, guys, here is the classic card of the day. Full name answer will get you the points. Who is that on the classic card today? Future Heroes, upper deck card. Who is this, man? UC saying, take care, y'all. Love will always prevail in any situation scenario. I love that message. He's exactly right. Derek Coleman is the card of the day. Isaac Campbell's going to get it today. That's right. That's right. Derek Coleman, Syracuse Orangeman. Denali, you're just behind our guy, Isaac. That's right. Rookie of the year in 1991. Syracuse Orangeman. Derek Coleman. Interesting card, eh? Future Heroes. Future Heroes. Derek was a pretty interesting guy. Pretty interesting guy. He was on the Pistons for a while, and my friend JJ's cousin, Mikey Moore, was a teammate of his. And he had some fun stories about Derek Coleman behind the scenes. Isaac Campbell, we'll make this a 50-point card today. You get 50 points for Derek Coleman as the classic card of the day. Good job getting in there, Denali. Just behind, unfortunately. But you keep showing up and keep coming back. I'm sure you're going to get a classic card at some point. All right, Isaac, 100 points for Derek Coleman on the classic card today. All right, we'll run it down real quick. You saw him play at Syracuse? Yeah, he was a really good college player. Really, really, really good college player. That's right, man. Yeah, I love UC's last message here. Love will prevail. The only thing stronger than hate is love, and love will win, man. I'm telling you right now, man. I'm going to be so hippie in this crazy-ass world soon, man. It's all about love your neighbor, love each other, look out for each other. Community, that's our strength. Grassroots. And, this is the thing. In some ways, because the world's getting so dark and scary, we're a little bit more nicer to each other all of a sudden. Crime's actually down. It's a big lie that crime is up in the United States. Actually, most violent crime is down, but they like to use a boogeyman to scare people and to justify budgets for police and all kinds of crazy shit. Oh, you need to be scared because they're going to do this. It's actually the crime rates and statistics are way down. And I will predict in some ways, because of the travesty of the administration, ICE and all this stuff, that people are becoming more like what UC said, more a humanitarian, more looking out for each other. And it's more likely that, and maybe in some cases, people are going to be more nice coming at each other because they see all the hate and all the stuff starting to stop, and they don't want to be a part of it. And that's how we can be part of changing this and making the world a better place, is come out with love. And when you meet a stranger, think the best of them and interact with them on a polite, on the like, I respect you level of love. And when we do this more and more, this may actually have a beneficial effect on the world, because it's dark and it's weird and we have to band together. But maybe people that were maybe not totally seeing eye to eye or were friends in the first place are friends now, because they see the utility and the purpose of it in a world where we need more love. So I love that, man. That's a great message right at the end of that right there, man. So thank you guys for watching me. Check you out later. Raptors 905 playing Cleveland Charge at 7 p.m. on YouTube here in Canada. We'll be in the chat. I'm sure Superfan Monique Lawrence will be there also. And hopefully I'll see you guys there. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Raptors 905. Let's go Toronto Tempo. Let's go Lakers. Why not? I'll just say it today. Let's go Lakers. Let's go CBL. Let's go Team Canada basketball. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Preview for the Detroit Pistons game, 9:30 a.m. Every single day, Raptor Freak is here. That's right. Let's go. That's right. Let's go, Laker Nation. Yeah.